Hello and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host Smokey, and joining with me as always is my co-host Booge.
Hello.
And joining with us finally again for the first time this year, everybody's together. We got Murda and Starfish with us.
Hello.
Hi.
And we got our fellow co-host Omi joining with us again for this one.
What's up, everybody?
And before we get into the review proper, as always, I have to give the 3 rules of our rating system. The first rule is it must be a fraction of 5. 1 means we hate it, 5 means we love it. Rule number 2, if we want our money back, we give it a good old Jeff Goldblum. And rule number 3, if we want... I feel I fucked up.
Nah, keep going. Keep going.
Okay,
You got
rule
it.
number 3, if we all agree that it deserves a 6 out of 5, a God tier, then it will get a God tier. And today, we are reviewing Rango from 2011.
Rango!
Yay!
Oh,
Rango.
Mango.
Mango. From what's his fucking name?
Fucking
Who played
Dango.
Mango? Chris Kattan.
Yep, Chris Kattan. But we're not going to be talking about Chris Kattan because this is a Johnny Depp film. All right.
And I know we usually get into the plot synopsis first, but there's so little production stuff in it. We might as well just get it out of the way because there's literally only one thing that I brought
Okay.
up.
I don't know if that's true, but we can do production first for sure.
I mean,
Switch it up.
Switch it up.
If most people don't realize, this was not only is this an animated movie, but it is also live action as well. They filmed the whole movie in what is called a motion capture to give the animators reference. So all the actors got together.
How the characters move.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I wouldn't say the finished product that we are given is a live action. It's animated.
I mean, the live action version is out there. It exists. It's out there. They just won't release the whole thing. It's so annoying.
That's not the movie that we're presented. We're presented an animated film.
Are they like in full outfits and sets, or is it just them like acting the movements, but just out like in the little green outfits?
This is in the sense of
the green outfit things.
The version exists. It literally is on a fucking hard drive somewhere. They just refuse to release it.
So I guess
release the pajama cut.
The butthole cut. Well, I feel like
Page
what you're
7
saying
fans out
more. Yes, I am. More accurately, there's footage of them voice acting. This isn't a live action film.
Though. They move and they're like when Rango is doing his little walks and stuff, Johnny Depp's doing the little walks and stuff like that. Like they're doing the motion that we're seeing. Like
I believe you.
Which is something pretty cool that I have found. Some of my most favorite animated works does this, or like, you know, kind of has the entire voice acting cast all in the same room together, so they're actually like playing off of each other in real time.
Yes, I love when that
Futurama does this. Which is just the most prominent example that like comes to my mind.
But
did King of the Hill do it? Because I feel like their chemistry is really good.
Justice League did it.
Surely they did.
Ooh, I love Justice League. The like early 2000s one, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Or late.
We're
90s.
Talking about the animated series, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, with voice actors.
This movie also won Best Animated Feature, and it was the last one to do it until Spider-Man.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, until 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
The Spider-Verse one. And I do want to say this is Starfish's month. It is his birthday month, so we're doing all Starfish picks. He has picked many genre films. This is our Western film.
Yeah, and so that's a theme that's recurring with the Loose Butthole reviews for this entire month, as I'm specifically going after genres that have not been reviewed by the friendly folks here at the Loose Butthole.
Yes,
So we
we
did
we
technically.
We have, me and Spooge have.
But
We've
it
done
didn't get
episodes.
released though. It got lost. It's a lost
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is?
Oh,
What?
which one?
Buster Scruggs.
Bust,
Oh.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Though I
can
guess you
Okay,
could
count-
the
call
Coen
There Will Be
Brothers movie.
Blood sort of
Yeah.
a western
Yeah,
ish.
There Will Be Blood's a
Blood can
western.
It can be counted as. We reviewed that.
Which we have. Yeah, we
have
did
to
review that.
redux that. We have to because we reviewed it right after the God tier was established. So I was like, I don't want to be handing out God tiers left and fucking right. So I refused to give it a God tier. But that one deserves a God tier for sure.
Oh yes, I love when you contradict yourself like a lying bitch.
That wasn't a lying bitch moment. That was just. It was literally the next.
I
review
feel like it
we
might
did.
be a lying bitch moment if you're not giving it a certain rating just upon principle. I feel like that's a lying bitch moment.
I couldn't do 2 God tiers in a row. We just reviewed Chernobyl
See?
and
That's what I'm
comparing
saying
it-
though.
If I have to compare There Will Be Blood to Chernobyl, then I would have to take away that God tier.
We
See,
need to make
That's-
lying
that's
bitch
weird.
t-shirts.
Yeah, we do need to make lying bitch t-shirts with fucking
I'd wear
what's his
Timothy
face?
Dalton.
Yeah, Timothy
Dalton.
Dalton.
From Flash Gordon.
Lying bitch.
Yep. So Rango is 2001 American animated Western comedy film, and I chose it not because it's just a Western, but I chose it because as a late kid into early pubescence, I became obsessed with spaghetti westerns, so I've seen a lot of them. And when thinking about presenting them to the entire group, there's a lot that comes to mind. The Dollars trilogy comes to mind. Um, pretty much anything Sierra Leone comes to mind. But instead of doing anything like that, I felt like doing Rango would actually have all of us a bit more engaged. And also because like I already chose a film that was like from the 70s, and I didn't want to choose like more like late 60s to late 70s films and like keep people like locked in that genre or that like time period.
I mean, we would have watched whatever you wanted us to because we shafted you for like 2.5 months with your picks. But I like that you picked this movie because I was like obsessed with this movie for like 2 years of my life. And I would
I
just
mean, it's a
eat-
great film.
eat very strong edibles and watch this movie and get like scared of the snake.
It could have been
Like both scared and aroused by the snake's voice.
Who voices that snake?
I will pull that up.
I
Real quick.
know
Just give me
this.
One second.
I know this, but I'm a little impaired, so my
Let's
brain
see
won't think of it.
here. That
It's
is
the
Bill
fucking Bill
Nighy.
Nighy, yeah.
Oh,
Which-
fucking Davy Jones?
Davy Jones,
Yep.
yes. There are some Pirates of the Caribbean like alums in this movie,
Yeah, there
which makes sense because the director directed the first 3 and also directs this movie, Gore Verbinski.
Oh,
Is that correct?
Yeah.
If we're getting into the cast, we're gonna have to bring up the most important actor besides Johnny Depp. The one that her name
Abigail Breslin?
should have been
Isla Fisher?
No, nope, nope,
No.
No.
Timothy Oliphant.
nope.
Don't think he's the most important in this movie, but
Patrika
A-
Darbo.
I'm gonna. It's a
Who-
Hawaiian.
which
Her
character?
first name.
Which
her,
character?
Her name plays Lucky. Plays a character called Lucky.
who is that? Who is Lucky?
Is
that the possum?
To be honest, I
Is she a
couldn't tell
smaller
you.
part?
I just know the voice actor is Malili, Finnegan, Faligan, the voice of Naruto Uzumaki. Your boy.
Oh. I don't know what
Cool.
you're saying.
I don't know either. That was a lying bitch
I don't
moment.
know what you're saying.
Another one. Another one.
I think
Faligan. She is
Sorry.
in this. She plays a character named Lucky, and she is the voice of Naruto Uzumaki.
All right,
Do,
let's
do you
clear
know
this
which
up.
one is
But are
Lucky?
you saying she's like the most prominent of this voice cast?
Oh
I
yeah,
think he
she
just
should
wanted
have
to shout out
been. She should have
Naruto.
been
Rango
top
Lucky.
billing. Her name should have been right under Johnny Depp. It's a shame. It's a crime.
I don't know that I agree
Lucky.
with you because this is
That's a
not a
weeb take.
memorable character to me. I don't remember Lucky.
Yeah, that's the
Just
weeb
look
take,
at this.
definitely.
Just look at this.
Um,
Just look at this middle-aged mom trying to be hip and cool. You're not telling me she doesn't deserve top billing? She deserves top billing. Look at her trying to do the shadow clone jutsu.
She's precious.
Lucky.
Over or under on
Rango.
50 though.
Do we need to throw her away? Is she right
Ah,
at
godly.
50?
Now I gotta fucking. Now I gotta.
Straight trash.
all right, so
She is 58
when
years
typing-
old, and she is from Hawaii, by the way.
All right,
Her-
so
her
she's
name-
hot again. She's hot again.
Oh, okay.
That's why I can't pronounce her first name, because it is a
She
Hawaiian.
twinkied.
I can't find what the character Lucky even is.
I have no
Yeah.
clue what the character looks like. I just saw her name on the casting. I was like,
She was like cut
Oh.
from the
Needs to
film.
be-
She's not even in it.
Definitely a lying bitch moment because you can't even think of what character she was.
Yeah, this was
No,
all
it's
a
not
giant
like
Not
ploy
all
to
that
it is
memorable.
not
reference
a lying bitch
Naruto.
moment. And the other moment was not a lying bitch moment either, because that
Oh, no,
Yes,
no,
it
no.
absolutely was.
No, it wasn't,
The
because
first
that's
moment
Lucky-
was 100%
season
a lying
0
bitch.
doesn't
Lucky-
count. Season 0
Lucky,
doesn't count.
Lucky is an opossum that has an asymmetrical face. He's got a cast on his left leg, and he's got a really small right foot.
Can you see the
Which
picture?
character would you say was the most fun to design, and how so? Sunny Wei, who is, I believe, the art director for the film.
My favorite side character was definitely Spoons.
Spoon.
Yeah, I
The-
like
he,
Spoons,
I
too.
was he
Pretty
was
great.
what was he like a little? He was definitely like a little man.
He was a varmint.
Like a little varmint. I don't think he was a possum because he didn't have a pointed snout, but maybe he was like a little muskrat,
Like muskrat?
or something.
Yeah. Let's
He
see.
he was my favorite side character.
Yeah, so Sunny Wei was the model maker for all of the characters in this film. And Lucky is the little guy that is throwing the dynamite. Like he's the first one to start throwing. He lights the dynamite and then he throws it up to the guy who's actually flying the bat, and then he throws the dynamite like at them. So he's just a guy sitting underneath a bat that makes I think he makes like 2, maybe 3 noises, and then like throws up the dynamite to the guy who's flying the bat. Like, remember the dad possum that was like, or the
Yeah.
dad mole that was like completely blind? Yeah, and there was that little
I think
guy
they were
underneath.
prairie dogs.
Yeah, and there was that little guy underneath that was like lighting the dynamite at first, and then he'd throw it up to him. That's Lucky.
Spoons is billed
Okay.
as a mouse. He's a mouse.
I was
Sunny
thinking
Wei,
more of a
who's
hamster
the
for Spoons, to be honest.
Yeah, but hamsters aren't really
He's got a big tail.
Vegas,
He's got a long tail.
Nevada, Mojave Desert creatures.
guess I
Like you're
wasn't
not going to
paying
find
attention to that.
hamsters.
Well, I kind of didn't suspect any of these to be. Not all of these
I thought that
animals
they-
were.
They're all North American.
They're all
They're
correct
North American,
species of
but
what
they're
you would. No,
find in
they're
the
all
desert?
correct species that you would find in the
Rango's
desert.
only one?
But none of their sizes make sense. Like all
No.
of their sizes are way, like the proportions are skewed. But like
Yeah.
all the actual species that they are,
extremely
you
tiny.
would. Yeah, there's like Rango like shouldn't be the size of a lot of these creatures. Like the
Yeah, and then there's that
proportions
really
aren't-
tiny
aren't there.
pig.
Yeah, little tiny pigs. Like a bunch of creatures that shouldn't
Hey,
be the
those
size
could
that
be
they are.
stand-ins for guinea pigs. Can't have actual guinea pigs in the desert.
But I'm just
guessing.
saying, like the actual species that they are, like you would find in the desert.
Guinea pigs don't have hooves.
No, they don't.
And they don't
Um,
look like pigs.
But you can't have guinea pigs in the desert. So
That's
what
what.
do you do?
Yeah,
You make
yeah.
tiny
You
pigs.
just proved.
Do you want to learn about Lucky and the art director? What
Yeah,
he
we're
thinks
still
about him?
doing production, right? Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
So Sunny Way, he was asked which character, or they were asked, I don't actually know their gender, which character would you say was the most fun and how so? Sunnyway said Lucky had funny short limbs with an asymmetrical face and the bandages from his many accidents that made him so unique and funny. His extremely large eye and head made him challenging. I cannot stop myself from smiling whenever I think about him. After seeing him in the shots playing with the gun, this non-traditional character makes me laugh again and again.
It's
Oh, that
delightful.
just proved my point. Thank you, Starfish.
I don't know if it proved your point, but that's nice.
Let
It's
him have it.
delightful.
The
All right, you can
Leave him
have
alone.
it. Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
He didn't do nothing to nobody.
I just want to give.
He's just a boy,
I
Paul.
just want to give the 58-year-old mom that voices an anime character top billing. Is that so wrong?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
It's technically wrong because it, like, I don't know if that voice actors should get top billing, but like, I get the spirit behind it. I
Oh,
understand that.
It'd work
yeah.
for it'd work for a certain demographic.
Oh, you know how many people would have ran to the fucking if they saw the voice of Naruto Uzumaki in this?
They would have Naruto ran.
One person, and it would be you.
Yeah,
Would've been-
that's it.
Hey, and
It would have been you and the art
You.
director.
and I would have hit the Naruto
And Sunny, the
ran.
art director. Yeah.
I would have Naruto ran so fucking fast.
Some other interesting production things. Later in the film, we actually run into this human man who has a spiritual guidance for Rango. And Rango, by the way, is a chameleon played by
mean, that-
Johnny Depp, who finds himself in the desert. But the visual inspiration obviously is Clint Eastwood. He's very Clint Eastwood designed. He's got the golf cart, and there's 5 Oscar-like film awards in the back, symbolizing the 5 Oscars that Clint Eastwood
This-
has won.
The spirit of the West guy.
Yeah, the Spirit of the West guy. So something that's interesting with it, Eastwood has received exactly 5 Oscars, including his Irving J. Thalberg Award. The voice of the Spirit is actually Timothy Oliphant, and he starred in the Western television series Deadwood.
And
I
then
wonder
Justified.
if they reached out
Absolutely.
to Clint Eastwood, and he said no.
Probably, who's just like, what cartoons? And then he probably said something racist.
Absolutely. Well, he said something
I think
racist,
Clint
and
Eastwood is a good. Would he be even a good voice actor?
I
I
think
mean,
he
at that
might.
point, I think you just get him for the cameo, right? Like, it's not
Yeah.
really.
Like, has he been in?
Right.
Any
You want
voice
him to
acting
sound like
roles
himself.
whatsoever? That's still.
Yeah,
even,
I mean-
even it there, but still, he could be one of the people that just can't record in a booth. Like, for some reason, his brain just doesn't correlate with recording in a booth, and he can't do it. There's some people like that, or there's just claustrophobia. There's a number of reasons.
Yeah,
has he?
but I mean, I also think at this time, I mean, this is 2000 what? 2011? Yeah, 2011.
What was he
Yes.
doing
I mean,
in
Clint-
2011? Ooh,
I mean,
he was doing J.
that would have
Edgar.
been
He was directing
that
J.
would've-
Or that
Edgar.
what-
He was busy. He was busy with J. Edgar. He directed that.
yeah.
That's with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a fucking phenomenal movie.
Yeah, that was in 2011, by the way. That is correct.
I'm looking at it right now.
The
I'm
o-
looking at his.
the other thing
filmology.
that I think he did, like, either like, I mean, didn't he do fucking what was that, Gran Torino, like a year
Yeah.
before that, where like he wrote,
Um,
directed, and starred in it,
That was 2008.
like 2010. Oh,
That was
2008.
2008,
Okay,
yeah.
close enough. But anyways, I mean, Clint Eastwood was busy doing his own
So-
thing, you know.
They got the other famous cowboy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I think of when I think of
Like-
Timothy Oliphant as cowboy.
It's the only thing he does now.
Is
Like,
it?
think about it. He was in Deadwood, Justified. They brought back Justified. He was a cowboy in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was a cowboy in The Mandalorian. He's
Oh.
just
Yeah, he
Mr.
was a
Cowboy
cowboy.
guy.
Oh,
He
he
was
I've
a
did.
never
cowboy in The
seen.
They
I
did
have
Mandalorian.
kind
not
of make him a
seen.
cowboy in the fucking Mandalorian.
I haven't seen any of those
He
things.
was in Once Upon a Time. Was he? Is he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well? Or was he?
Yeah,
I
as a
actually
cowboy.
haven't. I
He
have not
was.
watched that movie. As a Tarantino fan, I've not watched that movie yet, and I don't know why.
I like it. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
haven't
seen
even
that
seen it
one
either.
either.
I just haven't gotten
We
around to it.
that's definitely one that we gotta fucking do soon.
I
It's
thought
on
y'all.
Hulu.
I thought y'all reviewed it.
No, we started the Quentin Tarantino ones, and I think we dropped off after Jackie Brown.
Yeah, our
Okay.
next one's Kill Bill.
Yeah, we
I
gotta
said
do the
y'all
Kill
couldn't do
Bills.
Kill Bill without me because I love those movies.
I'm a
Yeah,
little sad I missed Jackie
great,
Brown.
great film.
I
Well,
will.
Yeah, I
that
was
was
sad about
pre that
missing
was
Jackie
pre
Brown
our
too.
time too. So
I, Jackie
This
Brown.
movie kind of reminds me of like an animated Tarantino movie.
Yeah,
It's
that would
got
have been
a lot of
CGI.
film references and stuff
yes,
like a lot of his movies. It's
Yeah, it
really
does.
yeah, it's got that kind of quality to it.
it's got
Yeah,
the dialogue. It's pretty dialogue heavy, even though it's kind of like action and visual heavy. Like there's a lot of like the dialogue isn't just thrown out for the visuals. Like the dialogue is definitely a component as well. If
I
anyone
love
else
that
Though
felt that way.
it is 3D
yeah,
Rango
animated.
himself.
This is actually rendered in 2D instead of 3D. That just means they couldn't move the camera angle. Like that's literally the only difference. It's you can't move in 3D rendering. You can move the camera angle. In 2D, you can't.
yeah, yeah. And
Omi,
I mean that's
what were
fine.
you
They make it
saying
work.
about Rango? You
What's
were
up?
saying something. You were saying
Oh,
something about
just
Rango.
his character design. I love it. It's just like Hunter S. Thompson from
Yeah,
Fear and Loathing.
yeah. We get like obviously like we open and it's Johnny Depp in like the shirt and with those mannerisms, and then when he falls out of the car, like he smacks into the car from Fear and Loathing with the two
Right.
characters in there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
love
it's
the Easter
great
egg.
too because
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
the other thing that it does too
Maybe
is it.
maybe he is the bats that they saw. The bats. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
this is
talking about?
backcountry.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um,
It's a fucking chameleon.
but it's also nice that does happen because it gives you a little tip that this is actually near Las Vegas. Um,
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out if they were. I guess that gives it away, but I was trying to figure out if they were near Las Vegas or Los Angeles. Because
no, it's
like
Vegas.
well now I know it's Vegas, but like when I was first watching, because of the when we get to the Spirit of the West, like he's just like picking up Oscar trophies in the desert.
Yeah,
And I was like, that seems like LA. I don't know. But then it was Las Vegas, so
yeah,
That character, you just the connection. He could have been watching the bats. He could have seen the bat scene even, because there is a scene where there's just a shit ton of bats in the middle of the day.
yeah.
yeah.
We do get exploding bats in this movie. Like
That
exploding like they're fucking like real airplanes, like the sound and the
that
visual of them exploding.
that scene is actually an Easter egg for Star Wars. The trench scene
Yeah,
of the Death Star.
yeah, yeah. I mean that. I mean that's something that you know, this. We should mention too. This is Gore Verbinski's first ever animated film. Um,
Dude, and he
and I
won an
mean,
Oscar for it? That's kind of
hmm
amazing.
yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I feel like it was deserved. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know, like,
100%.
I
I
was real
remember now.
obsessed with this movie for a while and watched it a bunch. And then I hadn't
Yo,
watched it in like a good 7 years. And I was like, I loved that movie. I wonder if it'll hold up. And then it super
this
held up.
this I
yeah.
this might have been just in my area, my general area that I grew up in, but I remember this movie flopping hard when it first came out. I remember everybody just dogging on it for some reason. Did
Probably
I
where
get
you
that?
lived.
Okay, I was just because
I
Cause
didn't because I was out of high school already. I was 2 years out of high school.
same.
Yeah.
yeah, everybody that I remember vividly, just when this first came out, nobody liked this in my area.
Well, we're waiting.
Success with they had
Hey,
a hundred and thirty
hold
five
up,
million dollar
hold
budget
up, hold up.
and
What?
There
What?
was
What?
why
some.
why
Y'all completely disappeared on
why
me. Y'all
Oh,
completely, yeah.
can
I
you
did
hear us
not.
now?
Yes, I hear y'all
hello
now, but then y'all were gone for a minute.
All right.
Oh shit.
Spooge,
Okay.
are
We'll
you
say it
pacing?
again.
I'm
Spooge.
I'm not pacing. I'm in the same place.
Okay, okay. I don't know what happened then, because
He got too excited.
it did the thing. It did the thing that it did. It was about to drop everything.
All right. We're back though,
Okay, but yeah, it was a financial success. It had a
170.
budget of $135 million,
which is fucking
and
huge.
it
That's a huge budget.
it
Yeah, it
broke
135
is.
million.
the box office with 245.7 million.
So
Um,
nearly doubled.
yep. The other thing
Some
too, as
studios
far
just got to point
as
this out. Some studios wouldn't have
okay,
seen that as a success.
Okay.
That is
okay,
true.
um, okay,
That is completely true. Some movies are like,
okay.
oh, we didn't even double the money. We fucked up. We're never
I don't
visiting
know.
this
Like,
IP
They
ever
are
almost
again.
did.
were we at that point yet in 2011? I know we are now.
It was the financial crisis in 2011. Things are still recovering.
I do think a budget of 135 million is pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean, you got some really expensive people in this, and then also the animation itself is pretty expensive as
Nickelodeon
well.
is definitely not the studio to be doing that, but if it was like Warner Bros. Or
This
something, they
is
definitely would have not been
this
satisfied with that return.
Well, that's still
this
Paramount, right? So
Yes,
Yeah, but
yeah, it's it.
yes,
is what did this.
produced by
yeah, but
Nickelodeon Movies.
Yep.
distributed by Paramount Pictures, so that's going to be the money.
Yay, we're all looking at the same Wikipedia.
Yeah. Um. So I did want to touch on Smokey's point of like people around them not enjoying this when it was released. Um, at this point in time, I was living in the middle of the desert, and it was everywhere. Like it was as big, if maybe even slightly bigger than like when Finding Nemo came out.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
fun. Was
everybody
it
was
like
talking
a
about it
desert
because it was the
classic?
latest Johnny Depp
Yeah.
movie.
No, I
Like
mean,
a
Johnny
fucking
Depp did a movie,
like
so everybody had to talk about it, but nobody was liking it. I would definitely remember that.
because I mean, not I'm not triangulating you because you don't live there now, but you lived in New Mexico, or did you live in Texas?
no, I was in New Mexico at the time when this came out.
Because like I know you said like Breaking Bad is like a cult hit, and like it's not really a cult hit because it's very popular, but like in New Mexico, it's on another level of like that's us,
Yeah,
that's here. I know that place. Like
yeah, exactly. I mean, going back and like watching Breaking Bad, like there, especially the first couple of scenes where he's in the high school. Like I went to that high school. Like I'm very familiar with like everywhere that he is. And people in New Mexico
do
in
meth.
Albuquerque. Yeah, they do a lot of meth. And on top of that, they also are very yeah, small-minded's not the right word. Maybe town-centric. Like everyone's very proud about like, oh yeah, we got this to open up like on this side of town, and we got this on this side of town. Like everyone's very, prideful of like
I
the small improvements.
I feel
Have
like
y'all
So
ever
this
lived?
and
every
Breaking
state.
Bad is to New Mexico what Tiger King is to Floridians.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'd say that's about equal.
Have
Every
y'all
state
ever
has
lived
that
in a
one
state?
town
I
that's
was
like
about to
that.
say, have
That's
y'all
just
ever lived in
obsessed
a
about it.
state where like meth wasn't prevalent somewhere? Like,
Nah, man, there's meth
Nope.
no.
everywhere.
Yeah,
No,
that's what
I
I'm
mean,
Wherever
Everybody
there
hates
is a
meth.
Waffle House, there is meth.
I
Yeah,
just know New Mexico's like
Ooh.
the number one distributor of it, thanks to Spooge, because he knows the
yeah.
capital.
Spoon's making meth. He's not sharing the profits with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I was doing right now.
So
Fuck.
there's an interesting dynamic with New Mexico in specific because there's large swaths of the state that is native reservation, and so the native police handle things a lot different than like the actual like U.S. city police do. Um, on top of that, in between like the small little cities that are there, because I mean, last time I checked, the population there is like 7 million or like 6 million for the entire state. So there's like portions of just vast emptiness with like no one around, nothing going on. Like it's very easy to drive an RV out into the middle of nowhere and do whatever you're gonna do in it.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, in fact, it's actually was pretty terrifying when I'd only lived there a couple of years in 2007, I think 2008. Um, there was there's this place called the Mesa, and it's like on the far west side of the town, and it's not very populated. There's a couple of like small little suburbs, but like not many people live there. They found like a buttload of bodies just like crammed, jammed, like half buried, like all over the mesa. I think it was like 6 women, like 4 or 5
Jesus.
dudes, and then like one kid that they just like found out there. Um, so
Damn.
yeah, and I mean they're completely unsolved. Like they they got the desert eats away. Um, But anyways, that's an entirely different story for an entirely different purpose. Um,
We should
Yeah,
talk
Nothing
I
about
bad like
Rango.
that happens
we've
in
kind of
Rango.
already brought up a few scenes, but we could. I feel like it. We could totally get into the plot now.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
Okay,
definitely.
yeah. So we open this film with a chameleon, with Johnny Depp's voice, um, putting on a performance, um, with a torso and arm that of a headless Barbie doll, a wind up fish, um, what else? A pine tree. There's something else too,
The wind-up
but I
fish
can't
had a
remember.
name. I just can't remember it right now. Well, was it Mr. Timms? Was it Mr. Timms?
Okay.
What a
I think it
contribution.
was Mr. Timms.
That sounds right.
Sure. Um, I don't remember exactly what it is. As the car's driving, or excuse me, he's in a terrarium, and he's putting on this show, and he's not having a great like go of it. Like he's disappointed in his fellow castmates,
He's
um,
stifled.
who,
He's
yeah,
stifled.
yeah, and he's not doing so hot. All we kind of zoom out and we see that he's actually in a terrarium in a car, and as we do, the car swerves and slams on the brakes, and the terrarium flies out the open back of the car. Like they had one of those like rolling down like back windows, and he just like flew out. Um, and we realize that he is a very very small creature in a very large world. He slides off a plate of glass, and like all of a sudden there's no more cars for a little while, and he hears someone call out to him. um, and that is a nine-banded armadillo, who's named officially named Roadkill. And he is squashed right down the middle. And
He's
he
fine.
tells him, he
He's
tells him,
fine.
I have to get to the other side. And Rango really doesn't like understand this, um, but he tries to help him. It's not working and stuff, and he tells Rango that he's seeking Roadkill is seeking the mystical spirit of the West. Um, and with no real options to go anywhere, Roadkill tells him that if he heads out about a day's walk into the desert, there's a town. Um, or excuse me, he doesn't say that. He says If you walk out a day into the desert, you'll find a town. And then next sentence, you should seek dirt. And um, so then he starts. Rango decides to walk into the desert.
Roadkill made me sad until he was okay.
Yeah, roadkill made me sad too. I didn't like
But
to
then he
see
was
it.
okay.
Yeah, no,
He
he
was
was fine.
fine too.
He was
He was
fine.
always fine. He just relaxed.
He didn't look fine. He didn't look fine when we met him.
He didn't look fine, but he was fine. He was alright.
He's
It
like,
made me sad.
Um, so he Rango makes his trek into the desert. It's super hot. He really wants some water. It's not looking too good for him. And as he's walking, this kind of shadow crosses over him, and he hears a voice say, "Don't move, hide." And he doesn't. He proceeds to like scramble all around and then go right up next to the creature that said that, and then try to change colors, to like match him. And
Now, Spooge, do you know what creature this is?
it looked like he was like a little desert toad.
Yeah, he looked like a toad.
yeah, yeah, definitely a desert toad. And it all a red-tailed hawk starts swooping down, and it is after Rango. He's bolting, he's ducking, he's diving and stuff. And he sees a glass bottle. He hops in there, and then the bird like pecks at it, can't get it to open and stuff. And Rango is living the high life. And I should say too, this narrow encapsulation of
This,
like a
uh,
scene
we
by scene
we
does not
totally
capture
forgot.
the like
We
true spirit
we
of
forgot to mention
Johnny
something
Depp,
about
like
we
saying
forgot to mention
doing all
something
this
about
stuff.
Roadkill. We forgot he was voiced by he was voiced by Dr.
Doc Ock.
Alfred Milana.
Alfred Molina. Molina.
Milana. Is it Melina?
Molina?
I think it's
Molina?
Molina. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Uh,
sure.
Molina.
I never heard Molina.
I think Smuggy's saying it wrong. Alfred Molina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Molina would be Melina?
Yeah.
M-O-M.
M-O-M, that's spelled Molina.
He's British, so I wouldn't know.
Is he British?
Yes,
I'm,
he's
I'm
British.
looking at his Wikipedia right now.
He's doing a very like Mexican accent.
I mean,
Is that
he's
okay?
Yes,
known
he
for
is.
doing
Is that,
Yeah.
is that okay that he's doing that?
Yeah, that's
probably
fine.
not, but I mean, like, it pays the bills, dude. Like,
I feel like there was a lot of like Mexican and Hispanic accents that were not done by people of the heritage in this movie.
like, wasn't he
yes.
like a Mexican guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Like when he betrays Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know.
Yes.
He's all like, throw me the
Yes, he
gun.
was. Yes. Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
remember that movie very well, to be honest.
But I feel like it's okay because they are voice actors, and voice actors are often, required to do different accents and takes on things that are not necessarily native
I will
to
say
their culture.
it's definitely not a conversation that was being like discussed in depth in 2011. That came a
Yeah,
little
and
bit later.
and it's also a little different when it's like white people also like dressed up as stereotypes on top of it, and I guess
Ye-
it makes it a
yeah.
little better when it makes it, I guess, a little bit like harder to really see that when it's animation because you're just like, oh, it's cute.
It is, but like,
It's cute.
what if the voice actor was white and like doing like a stereotypical like black voice?
Well, then we
Would that
could
be
also say
okay?
like, what about a black guy doing like a Japanese voice too? Because then you have like Samurai
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't the conversation we were discussing in 2011.
True. And then also like Speedy Gonzalez is like huge in like South America and Mexico. So
I mean, if
it's hard to say.
if the people of the nation like it, who's to say that it's wrong?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if it can offend someone, and I could see how it would be. I wouldn't like say someone was an idiot if they got offended. You know,
You're a fucking idiot.
you're wrong because I don't think there's really a wrong or right to that.
Let's cancel some people. Let's
Yeah.
cancel Alfred Molina.
Oh.
Yeah, let's get him.
Oh
I'm
no,
just kidding.
Oh.
not
We're
Doc Ock.
gonna Spider-Man him.
I
What if he
also
just took on that accent while he was playing Doc Ock?
Like a
That'd
Hispanic
be an awesome
accent?
Doc Ock.
I'm down for that. We'll claim him.
Hey,
Okay.
that could
That'd be too powerful of a character.
with how the fucking MCU is now, is that's canon. That's a canon variant. There's definitely a Doc Ock with that accent out there now. You
Sure.
He just canonically puts on a fake Mexican accent because that's just part of how evil he is.
Stop selling. I'm already sold.
I also found out the desert frog is called Rockeye, and he is voiced by Joseph Nunez, Nunez. Nuns?
Nunez.
Nunez?
Nunez.
Nunez? Oh, that sounds like he can do that accent that he did.
I
Nunez sounds legit.
don't know. He doesn't have a Wikipedia.
Was this like his one role?
No, he's got 80. According to IMDb, he has 84 different roles, but IMDb
Sure.
doesn't even say.
Damn, they sleeping on him.
He just wrote those in. He's like, actually,
Actually, I
I've
have
been
84.
84.
roles.
Yeah, I was a producer for most of them, so I believe I'm qualified to be the Paramount executive.
Oh my god,
that-
is he Tommy Wiseau?
Or the fucking Good Burger 2 motherfucker.
You're tearing
Yeah.
me apart.
This is
Well,
simple New Orleans accent.
Oh shit. Inside the bottle, Rango is the hawk is outside, swoops up, picks him up, and Rango is no longer having a great time because he's about to take a really big fall, and he does. Something that I do enjoy about this film, despite it being a child's film, there's a real sense of danger.
This is the kind of children's movie that I like. It's like borderline not a children's movie.
Yeah. And when the bottle breaks, like, I first time seeing that, it's like, oh, well, is he actually going to get him? He's going to become friends with this hawk and like talk his way out of it. There's a bunch of different possibilities. The bottle breaks in half like perfectly. Ringo starts running. Half the bottle goes by. He runs past the desert toad, and the hawk makes the toad run, and the hawk then proceeds to grab the toad, and then curses Ringo as he is ostensibly killed and eaten.
The toad's
Yeah.
not a good.
He definitely
person,
got
though.
eaten.
The toad's not a good. He deserved it. He offered his sister Durango.
I noticed that, and then I wasn't sad that he died.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of weird. Cause what, right? Cause he was like running in the bottle, and he was like, "Wait, no, we're friends. I'll let you kiss my sister."
Yeah, and that's
It's
not the
weird.
accent that he said it in.
No, it's not. As he's making his way, um, he's making his way, and he is kind of standing underneath a hill a little bit, and this huge wave of water just like flows out, which also is probably wastewater. Um, I don't know why it would just like be just like sprayed into the desert in the way that it is. Um, he tries to like desperately drink some, can't get a hold of anything, and this is where we meet the most excellent desert iguana rancher, this side of dirt, Beans.
Voiced by
Is
And
she? Is she an
Isla
iguana?
Fisher? I'm fucking that
Yes.
up.
Isla,
Fisher.
yeah,
Isla.
Fisher.
Isla Fisher.
Isla.
Isla.
Okay.
Yep. Isla Fisher voices Beans, and yes, she is in fact a desert iguana. Um, canonically, that is what she's supposed to be. Um, which they look really cool if you've never seen one, like a real one. Um,
I'm looking one up right now.
yeah, they're great.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah,
Oh, they're so smooth-headed. Like they don't have the crest like I would think an iguana had.
yeah.
Oh, I'll send you guys a picture. I get
Um,
it now. That's not what I think of when I think of an iguana.
and she greets Rango behind in the classic southwestern tradition. She introduces her two barrels to the front side of Rango's face, and warns him that she's got a bead on him. Um, Something interesting with her is that it is an obvious vocal impression of a staple Western character, Pat Buttram,
She does the
which
voice
is pretty
very
cool.
well. I mean, she's got that twang in it. The
Hmm.
twang.
Which is
Yeah,
funny because isn't she Australian?
I don't know.
I believe she is.
Uh,
I'll find that.
It wouldn't
yes,
I'll
she
surprise
find
me.
that
is.
out.
She is
Yes.
Australian.
Um, and uh, Ringo is quickly realizes that like he needs to be nice to her and stuff, and so he does. She eventually offers him a ride into town, but she is a proper classy lady, and she drops him off before they actually enter the town of Dirt. Um, which I liked that of like gives him a ride, but then like makes him get off of the wagon to actually enter the town. The other thing about her that we find out is she has a reflex, a survival instinct where she freezes. And when she does, the score, um, which is done by Hans Zimmer, plays this like really like awesome, like kind of like kind of thing to like highlight that she's just like frozen. Um, it's pretty great. Um, they make their she goes into town and she starts trying to buy some feed and stuff. Rango sees this and starts calling her out and stuff, and she's like, "No, I don't know him." And then then she rides off to go back to her ranch and stuff, and Rango goes into the bar. Um, Inside the bar, he has a realization that he can kind of be whoever he wants to be. None of these people know him. He is the classic Western trope of an outsider that just rolled into town. Um, and so one of the townspeople kind of like starts trying to badmouth him. It's like, oh, you can't handle your cactus juice or something like that, and he immediately goes into his acting persona and just like becomes the most badass and tough drifter. And on the bottom of the cactus bottle that he's drinking out of, which is, I guess, their kind of beer, maybe. It says Henjo in Durango, and his thumb is covering the DU part, so he calls himself Rango. Um,
Would that
he-
actually does cactus juice does that have any merit? The effect that it was given them
no.
is that
Um,
is it just plain
so
water
so
basically?
no, with exceptions. There
Okay.
is a couple of different cactuses that if you drink the juice of it, like it will not only dehydrate you, but like give you a mild psychoactive effect.
I mean,
Um,
agave, that's not a cactus, it's more like a succulent
yeah,
because tequila.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, tequila is a good example. But like if you were actually stranded in the Mojave Desert, um, you would want to find a cactus and drink some of the juice out of it. Like that could save your life, because of how incredibly dry it is. Like there's merit to drinking it for like hydration, but like only in dire emergencies.
Save your life or kill you.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But I mean, you'd be fine either way, I think. um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so Rango's just like telling all these town people all the stories and stuff. One of the things that he mentions is it the Jenkins brothers? Um, maybe, but anyways, there's
The
there's
seven Jenkins brothers he killed with one bullet.
yeah, yeah. So this guy's like, "Well, are you? What happened to the Jenkins brothers?" He's like, "Yep, I'm the one that took care of them, and I did it with one bullet too." And then there was like a guy at the end of the bar, and he's like, "All seven of them." and, and then he has to explain that. However, um, after explaining it, a Gila monster named Bad Bill rolls into the bar, and the Gila monster's shaken down this like turkey thing or something. But we get a really good like close up of like a knife's
This
edge running across like a turkey's face and like shearing the feathers off of it. Like it just is kind of wild.
this Gila
Um,
monster is voiced by a Ray Winstone.
I
Also,
don't know what
Gila.
else he. I don't know what he does, but like I liked his voice a lot. I like that character.
It's the
He
Gila.
passed away last year.
Oh,
Right?
Hmm.
Ray Winstone?
I don't know who that
No, he's
is.
still
Like I don't know
alive.
what else he does.
Am I
uh,
thinking of the right guy? Is that
I
not
mean,
the dude
he's
from?
worked with a
Uh,
lot of people.
he
Oh no, this is the guy
is.
from The
No, he's still
Departed.
alive.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
somebody else.
Yep, Raymond Andrew Winstone, English television, stage, film actor, career spanning 50 years, having worked with many prominent directors, including Scorsese and Spielberg. Winstone is perhaps best known for his quote hard man quote roles, usually delivered in his distinctive London accent. The first of these was That Summer in 1979, of which he received a nomination for the BAFTA Award for Best Newcomer. He rose to prominence starring as Will Scarlet in the series Robin of Sherwood from 84 to 86.
I also did want to. You said the music was done by Hans Zimmer. Like that's a familiar name to all of us, right?
Yeah,
Even if you don't know what
Yeah.
he does, like that's a
Oh
very
yeah.
familiar name. I know he did some of the music for The Lion King.
Hmm.
He
yes.
Voice in
did
Rick
Hmm.
and
all the
Morty,
score
and he
for
does
the Christopher
Mandalorian as
Nolan
well.
Batman movies.
Oh shit.
Yep.
He did the
Um,
music for The Prince of Egypt, which was like the music was
yep.
good in that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. The other thing with Hans Zimmer, he also did the most recent Dune.
let's see.
Um,
I got a list here:
okay.
Gladiator,
Yep.
Black Hawk Down,
Yep.
Hannibal, The Last Samurai, Madagascar, The Da Vinci Code, The Simpsons movie, Kung Fu Panda, Angels and Demons, Sherlock Holmes, and then like a bunch of other shit that nobody knows.
Interstellar, No Time to Die, and the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
Oh, okay. So we got a whole Pirates of the Caribbean crew on this
A-
movie.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Something interesting about Zimmer, that should be stated and why he's actually involved with all of these many different things. He is the head of the film music division at DreamWorks and DreamWorks Animation Studios. And he also does a lot of work with other composers through a company he founded called Remote Control Productions. So if you see DreamWorks, you see DreamWorks Animation, you see Remote Control Productions, that's all Hans Zimmer
It
for
said it
music.
didn't specify what he did, but I saw in his early career he worked with was it the Buggles for a video killed the radio star. But it didn't say what he did on that song. You know. You'll know that
Oh,
song.
yeah, yeah,
Radio
I
killed
know
the
that song.
radio star.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
It was the first music
are
video.
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. And
radio
he was also in
star.
that music video.
Yeah, that's cool. That's all. Yeah, I mean that's pretty awesome.
But you can get back
In
to what you're saying. I just feel
in
like
1977. Yeah, Hans Zimmer's a very famous
we
music
said
man.
that name and like nobody reacted, and I was like, wait, like what? I know that name, but like what do I know him from? So I had to
Yeah,
think.
well that's why I brought him up. Specifically because like I mean I'm pretty familiar with his many things. I didn't know the thing about the Buggles though. That's pretty cool. Um the Gila monster is that better, Spooge?
Yes,
Yes,
he
it
says
is.
he would say
Okay,
it's
okay,
The
okay.
Gila monster
Um,
is what it's what it's
spelled yes, Gila, but
uh,
It's
but
Gila
pronounced
monster.
Gila.
yeah.
I'm the Gila
So
blood spiller witch killer.
and his name is Bad Bill, and he challenges Rango to a duel. Um, Before the duels happening and stuff, um, like it's just kind of ridiculous. Rango like has like he gets handed a pistol or he gets handed a revolver. I should state this is the old west. We do not have pistols. We have revolvers, and he like opens it to like check to see if there's bullets. All of them fly out, but one of them stays in. This is a common theme with Rango, with the single bullet. We'll get into that more later. And like he drops his belt. He's got to pick it up. As he's trying to pick it up, a shadow flies over the town, and it is the hawk. Um, and this hawk is um, out for Rango in specific.
Did y'all
And
notice the hawk's beak?
what
What
about
about
the
it?
hawk's beak?
it's
It was
wearing
like
it's
it
wearing
was
like
like
a thimble type thing.
metal. Yeah, it
Yeah.
had like a metal cover that was like had little designs on it. It was
Oh,
Oh,
that's
cool.
I
kind of
didn't
like a
notice that.
spur, right?
Yeah, I'll see
Oh,
if I
okay.
can
I
pull up a picture, but I noticed that like a little gilded metal beak.
it was more
I
And
did
like
it
not.
made
it's
me
g-
and it
it
made me wonder if like he damaged his beak and got it repaired because like he didn't speak, but he was definitely sentient.
it definitely reminded me of like an ornated gun, like how it
Yeah.
looked.
But yeah, and so this forces Bad Bill and crew to all duck for cover. Rango does the same, and he goes into the only outhouse like in the city. It looks like, and the hawk just claws it and shreds the outhouse. That was like some type of like carton or like jug of something, and this leads to a chase. The chase being that Ringo has a huge amount of toilet paper like attached to his leg, and the hawk is following the toilet paper.
The
Um,
Pepto-Bismol
yeah,
outhouse.
yeah, it was Pepto Bismol. That's right. Um,
Very rude
yeah.
of the hawk to interrupt him during his business.
During his so scared
Do you
he's
know how
shitting himself.
hard? Do you know how hard some people have it when you go, "Hey, what's up?" when they in the bathroom? Oh, guess what? I'm
Yeah,
not doing for the next fucking
and
12 hours. Thanks.
if you take too much Pepto-Bismol, you're not going to shit. And then when you do shit, it's just going to be like black.
Ooh.
So don't take too much Pepto-Bismol. I was real sick
Give you the
recently,
black
so
boops.
For
Dysentery.
all the listeners out there.
don't take too much Pepto-Bismol. You won't be able to shit, and then when you do, it'll come out black and scare you.
Don't drink no too much Pepto now. Your shit
We're
turn
warning
black.
them. We're warning them
Just
and saving them.
drink a little bit of Pepto if you're feeling sick, but just don't like take too many doses.
What
Yeah.
kind of
Um,
Don't
medicine
fall
is
in love
that?
with the flavor.
Don't.
Now I
I
know.
know it's good. I know
It's
you
not a
can
No,
get
it's
it.
beverage.
half the battle.
no, it is not. It is not a beverage. Um, and so Ringo's running away from this hawk, and this hawk is just decimating the town, just busting through all kinds of stuff. And it climaxes with Rango going towards the water tower, holding on for dear life. There's now like a string attached to him, and the hawk is pulling on it. Rango's holding on to the water tower, and it its force knocks the water tower over, crushing the hawk. and killing the hawk like obviously, like I mean the hawk's dead. It's got the
It's dead.
classic yeah, it's dead. It's got the classic witch's feet from underneath the house kind of thing going on with it.
But is
Where
it?
But is it?
yes, maybe.
It
I don't
is.
know. um, but another thing of note is that the water tower is actually filled with gravel and dirt. So there's, not really water here still.
So it would be a
Uh,
gravel tower, not a water tower.
yeah, it'd be a tower of gravel shaped like a water tower. I don't know why they put a whole bunch of gravel and stuff up there in a tower. Doesn't make a lot of sense
Well,
to me,
I
but
I
that's what
just
it
took
is.
that as it's out of water. It used to have water in it, and now it doesn't.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a form of execution. They put someone underneath it and they open it up and all the gravel falls on them, crushes them.
yeah, yeah.
But the
I mean,
town's the
yeah.
town's called Dirt. Their form. I would assume
That
their main
that does
form.
sound like some backwoods motherfuckery.
Yeah, it does. It
their
does. Um,
their main
yeah,
execution
that's good.
should not be dealing with hanging. It should be dealing with dirt or gravel.
Some execution by live burial.
Hey,
Um,
live up to
um,
the name, damn it.
the townsfolk have all seen this happen, and they think that Rango actually took this hawk
Is
down
this the first time we
by
see Doc? This
himself.
is the first time we see the hair, the one-eye hair, the doctor, right? I think so.
Uh, sure.
Cause he checks he's
Um,
the one that checks to see.
yeah. Yes, yes,
Oh,
you're
this
right.
is
He
Bill
checks the hawk.
Dotrieve, Stephen Root.
Yes.
Oh, your boy, I loved it. And he also plays the banker,
I thought he
the
was a
brown
squirrel.
squirrel. He plays
Oh,
the
they're
squirrel
both.
as well. Yeah, he plays.
Yep.
And he
Yeah, he
also
plays a
plays.
lot of characters in this.
He plays
Hmm.
Mr. Snuggles as well, known as
Oh,
a North
He had
American
a
porcupine.
he had a really big part in Barry, which I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else watched Barry.
Oh, I
I've seen
loved
random
Barry.
scenes on YouTube.
Yeah, he's
I
got a
haven't
really
seen
good
that
part in
one.
that.
He's got a good role in dodgeball as well.
Oh fuck it,
Oh,
I love Dodgeball.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah. Dodgeball's a great
And
film.
in fucking was it Get Out? Wasn't he in Get Out?
Yes.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
in
I
Get
think
Out.
so.
And his character in this is almost exactly the one he has in Ballad of Buster Scruggs,
Yeah,
which I
I
really
would
love.
really like I would really like to see the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's one I haven't seen. We should also mention again that the budget for this film is $135 million. These are some of the reasons why. All of these people that we've brought up so far, and the music,
We're not
along
even
with the
done.
director and all that stuff, those are all very famous people that are in this film.
And we're not
Um,
even we're there. There's way more people that we have to list. We've only
it's
scratched
true.
this fucking list.
It's true. The townsfolk immediately praise Rango as their savior from the hawk, um, and as such, they request that he go see the mayor. And the mayor is a desert tortoise named Mayor John.
Voiced by a I just had it. Voiced by Ned Beatty
Beatty.
Beatty. Yeah.
Yep, Beatty.
Hmm.
Yep, another very famous person. like, there's a bazillion things that he's been in as well. Um,
Deliverance for the main
yep.
part and Network is what I remember. Superman. Oh, he's in
Superman.
Superman as well.
Yeah. Yep. So
In Deliverance, was
oh,
he
go
the
ahead.
rapist or the rapee?
I
Mm.
I
I've never
I
seen
think
Deliverance.
he's the.
I don't
I
want to watch
think
it.
he's the. I
He's the
think he's the
rapey.
one. I think he's the one
He's the
that gets.
rapey.
Yeah, he squeals. Yeah, he's the one that squeals like
That's
that.
definitely a future
He,
Lucy Goosey. So I still need to see that movie.
you can count me. I think you can count me out of that one.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard one. That might be the first one that Smokey doesn't do because him squealing like a pig's pretty harsh for me.
So I went. This is a total tangent, but a few years back, me and my friend took a little trip, and why do we do this? Because we live like 2 hours away. We took a trip up to the mountains in Georgia and like we just ended up in the town. I think it was called Clayton, and like it's where they filmed Deliverance. And like you could tell, like we were just driving through the trees, and like there was like signs, like little planks just nailed to
Welcome to Clayton.
the tree, and it said
Better
like,
watch out.
no, it said repent. It was just like a plank nailed to the tree that said repent while you were driving by. It was really creepy. There was like a fire in the mountains when we were up there, but we went to this winery, and it was a really good winery. But like the lady, the proprietor, she like named some of her wines after Deliverance, and she was like giving us tastings, and she was like, "This will make you squeal like a pig."
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's what we're famous for.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, they
Um,
better, I
oh,
was gonna ask, was the town like very proud of the movie being
They were
filmed?
definitely
Yeah.
aware, yeah.
yeah. So yes, Beatty is the one being sexually assaulted. Bill McKenney is the one that is doing the sexual assault. Um, yeah.
They
It's
don't
not
show
funny.
it
I
now.
don't. I
They
shouldn't
don't
laugh at
show
that.
it. They don't
Wanted people
actually
to know.
show it. You just hear them go, "You better squeal like a pig," and then you hear
Okay.
the squeal.
I could probably watch it if we just skip that part.
Yeah, it's been
If
a
I just like
long,
walk out of the room for that part.
it's been a long time since I've seen that film.
It is
Um,
the it again. I might have to walk out with you because
uh,
that scene it gets me.
I know
But if y'all
another
didn't know
dude was
that
in that too.
that scene was or that movie was filmed in the
The
Georgia
guy,
mountains.
the guy
So
who
no,
plays
I did not.
Merle, the guy who plays Merle in Walking Dead's also in that film. I can't think of his name right now.
oh fucking that guy. Yeah. What's his
He's also in
name?
another movie which I don't want to watch
I know
because
his
it has an
name.
even worse scene, and it's
The
actually
Henry Lee Lucas film.
yeah, yeah.
Are
What's
you
his
That
talking
one's
about
actually a lot more
I
rough.
I
it's
know
Michael
his
Rooker.
name. Yeah, Michael
Yep.
Rooker.
Michael Roker, thank you.
Yes, and he's also in Marvel movies. Well, in the Guardians of the Galaxy. What was his name? Grondu or something like that?
Yeah, he plays his little flute and his little arrow shoots around.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
He died. His character died. He's not
Yeah,
in it anymore.
it's my favorite
He,
character,
Can't
Grondu.
yeah,
fucking you
he may
can
be your
call him.
father, but he ain't your daddy.
You can call him
That
Mary
guy.
Poppins.
That's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's his
Um,
name? Omi, you know his name.
Yeah, it's Yondu. I thought you were
Okay.
fucking joking.
No, I couldn't remember.
How could you forget
Grogu. Grogu,
Yondu?
that was his name.
Grogu, yeah.
oh
You mean
yes.
Baby Yoda? His name's Baby Yoda.
Yeah, sure is.
Y'all got me deedling on the floor.
Oh, got deedled. Get deedled. Um, Rango meets Mayor John, voiced by the excellent Ned Beatty. And he has some interesting words for Rango. One of the things that he mentions in this first encounter is that, you know, these townspeople need something to hope to believe in. And they hope and believe that the water will return, but right
Very
now they hope and believe in you.
a
And
very
he
Jim
appoints
Jones like
Rango.
character.
Yeah, and he appoints Rango as the new sheriff.
So
And
also, I just want to say, like, I'm in this chat that we have, I'm sending pictures of all the real life animals. If anyone is interested, they should just go look up the real animals that are featured in this movies. They're really fucking cute. They're
yeah,
really
they're
cute and
yeah,
like they're fascinating to me of their adaptation to the desert, but they're so cute.
yeah.
If there is a
Oh,
way, I don't know if I can post pictures in the comments on YouTube or I would post them, but any listeners
maybe
should
not.
go look at these species.
Yeah. What's cool is that like these are a lot of creatures that like I grew up like seeing, like so like this it slaps. The character design as well as the creatures themselves are all like incredibly varied. And the animation of them is also really well done. Um, So, with being the new sheriff, Rango rolls back into town and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my fancy duds. I'm gonna get a 10-gallon hat for only a 5-gallon hat price." Um, yeah, and he's really played into this new character as Rango, the sheriff of the town of Dirt. Um, and this is where we get to meet a character whose name is never mentioned, and that to me is a tragedy. Her name is Lucille. She is an opossum, and she's a little girl. And she tells Rango that now that there's no hawk, the infamous gunslinger Rattlesnake Jake will return.
Is
What
that
Do you
was her
a
want
name
to?
again?
pro wrestling reference?
No.
Like Jake the
Jake the
Snake.
Snake?
Maybe.
I don't
I
know.
guess.
Maybe.
I
I
don't
think it might
know.
have been an act.
No?
It might be coincidental since Jake rhymes with snake.
I mean,
I
That's all
so
mean,
does
ready to
Blake.
rumble.
is it
Could
Lucha Libre or is it like
no,
WWE or what?
he's like old school like 90s
Yeah,
like WWF.
like 80s, early 90s. He used to
That's
walk
that's
around with a snake.
oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's pretty crazy. He's kind of alt right now though.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not even surprised.
Um,
She's not
Not
even.
and
everybody can be Jesse
This
Ventura.
character's not even. She doesn't even have a billing. I can't find this character's
yeah,
It's
voice actor.
Abigail Breslin.
it's Abigail Breslin.
Oh,
She
from Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, and she's the one who voices Lucille. Lucille.
It
So
is not
there
on
are a couple
Wikipedia.
of characters' names um, that are just not given throughout the film. Um, and those characters are Roadkill, the armadillo. It never says his name in the film. Oh, excuse me, it's not Lucille. It's Priscilla.
Oh,
Uh,
that's not a
Priscilla.
opossum. That's a
The
cactus mouse.
Yep, it's a
She's
desert mouse. And Baltazar the mole.
okay.
None of those
She's
names
like
get
baby.
mentioned in the film. Uh, but um, anyways, she's really cute, and she is the constant. Voice of reason's maybe not the right word, but she's the constant like realism check to Rango's fantasies. Um, while he's doing all this, Beans rolls back in. There is the mayor's what do you call those things? The mayor's secretary, who is a desert fox, basically, helping Ringo get all this like new clothing and stuff. And Beans is immediately like jealous of the fox for spending
Voiced
time
by
with
a
Ringo.
Claudia Black.
Yeah, and she eventually like makes Bean so stressed that she has her freeze up like flight fight flight or freeze. She always freezes when she gets really stressed,
What do y'all
and
do?
Rango kind of blows it off. I fight.
Are y'all fight, flight, or freeze? I'm
I
freeze
Oh,
all the
fight.
way. I'm freeze.
I definitely have a fight reflex.
I haven't had a situation where I mean I guess with a wasp I run away, but I don't want
I
to
get
like also
Which is
kill.
funny
So
because with a wasp, I'd actually fight. I've punched some wasps.
You punch some wasps?
Yeah,
she's a
when they're
big
flying at you,
two
just
time
fucking
and
punch
wasp
them.
puncher.
You just
Oh,
fucking
so when
punch
it
them, they
So
bounce off, and then they.
you'll punch a wasp, but you won't punch a butterfly. I'm bringing this back up.
I'm not gonna
I
punch
stood
it.
my
A
I stood my
butterfly's not
ground
gonna
against the
hurt me.
pit bull.
Oh, you fought against
That's
the
good.
pitbull. I
He
had
didn't
to.
fight. I just told him to stop and he stopped charging.
I have had to fight dogs in my profession, which I'm not going to mention here, but I work with a lot of dogs, and I've had to fight dogs off that were trying to hurt me, and it's
So it depends
scary.
on what's attacking me.
I guess it depends because you can't run from a dog or you're just going to get
No,
attacked.
yeah, that's what I knew. So I was just like, oh no.
With people, I have like there's a mixture of freeze and fight. I guess it depends on the situation.
Mhm. You gotta make yourself look big, stop and speak stern and low. I think that's what worked for me for that
Like a
dog.
bear.
Yeah. No bear. No bear. No bear. No bear.
I just live by the rule of if it has a face, you can punch it.
Waspus
True.
have
Wasps have
faces.
faces.
They have faces.
I don't want it to come to
Butterflies
that.
have
Yeah.
faces too.
Wasps,
Butterflies.
pit bulls,
Butterflies.
butterflies. These hands
People.
are rated E for everybody.
I've had to.
I'm
I've had
glad
to fight.
Omar's on my side with the butterfly thing.
A butterfly's never trying to attack you, though.
That's not true.
That I think that is true. I don't think has anyone ever gotten like bitten by a butterfly.
You have to be a
Nope.
huge, big old pussy to feel threatened by a butterfly. Or
Okay,
SpongeBob.
there
Or
are
from
Hey,
the
this is
sea.
20.
SpongeBob.
This is
I'm gonna-
2024.
there are many
Vaginas are strong.
videos.
They're now testicles. You
The
can be a
fir-
big
when
old
I-
testicle.
There are
He
When
was
I
many
look
calling
at-
videos of
everybody
people running
cats.
from butterflies. There are many
When I
people
when I
just
okay when I
being
search the
scared
question,
shitless of
can
a butterfly.
can butterflies bite? The first sentence is butterflies don't bite because they can't.
Yeah. They won't drink your blood if you're like already dead.
I understand
Yeah.
they
The
can't
wound's
bite.
open.
I have seen butterflies on an animal corpse like eating it, but I don't think they don't bite you. They're never trying
No,
to
they
attack you.
no, they never do.
Maybe
There's a type of moth
a
that
caterpillar.
there's one type
maybe.
of moth. There's one type of moth that'll actually bite and is vampiric.
And
That's one
caterpillars
very
can
rare
probably
type of
bite
moth.
you.
I
Yeah.
have seen several videos of little kids just running scared shitless of a tiny little
Yeah, they're
fucking
Because they're
butterfly.
dumb.
Scared
They're
little
stupid.
ball sacks. We're not calling them pussies, right?
Yeah, that's
Ball sacks
accurate.
are
I
more
just wanted to
sensitive.
I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah,
No
vaginas
one,
are strong. Balls
no
are way
one's,
sensitive.
no one's getting attacked by a butterfly.
Hmm.
Who on it? If reality is subjective, then the kid is being attacked by a butterfly. It's feeling like it's being attacked. That's why they're running.
These kids need
Yeah.
a reality check.
Yeah.
Somebody
I was
tell
never
'em.
scared of a butterfly when I was a kid.
They just
But
need
I'm a
to
big
stop
one.
being 50-year-old women, am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
The only 50-year-old women are scared of butterflies.
They'll bite. They might bite you.
Well, speaking of women, Beans, the primary female protagonist of this film, wants Rango to figure out where the water is going, where it's gone. They inadvertently create a run on the bank because Beans tells Rango in private that there's no water in the bank, and he blurts out in the middle of like this huge crowd that's surrounding him, "The bank's out of water!" And then like the townspeople all swarm there. He goes over there, kind of calms everybody down, and he proceeds to drink like a lot of their water just in front of them while giving a speech.
Hey, he's a
It's
chameleon.
ridiculous.
He needs it. He needs it a lot
Yeah,
more
he
than
need-
these.
I mean,
desert-
to be fair,
Absolutely.
he is not adapted to the desert. This chameleon would have died in the first like 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only cup of water he had the whole
Pet-
time.
Pet chameleons are fragile.
They're very
Oh, yeah.
fragile. They're super sensitive to smoke and stuff too, and like
Mhm.
scent, like certain like scent sprays and stuff, candles. Like they require a very specific environment.
Too much handling upsets
This
them
is
too.
I don't
Yeah.
keep reptiles because like they can be very fragile and I feel bad.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
one that likes that like I could ever see is like if the person knows what they're doing, ever looks happy is like the dragons,
Oh yeah,
the
bearded dragons.
bearded dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I've seen a
seem
couple
lot,
of like
they seem a
iguana.
lot hardier than chameleons.
I've seen a
Yeah,
couple of like
they-
pet iguanas that seem pretty stoked to have
More
like
social.
a person too.
Yeah.
yeah, and a big old tingu too. That would like sit on
Yeah.
this one big guy's lap like a big old dog, like on the stomach. It's huge.
Oh. Oh, so precious. Um, that night, Ringo is making his rounds, being the lawman about town, and a in the film they're called moles. I think prairie dogs is probably maybe more accurate to like
I thought
what's
their
actually
behavior
there.
seemed like prairie dogs, but they are like billed as moles. So we'll go with moles. There are moles in the desert, as I sent the picture of this mole eating a lizard.
Yeah, yeah, I saw.
I
They
thought that was
these
wild. I
three,
never seen anything like that.
if I'm not mistaken, these three are voiced by Harry Dean Stanton, which is the father.
Twin Peaks. Right.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Mhm.
Ryan Hurst is Jedediah, and Vincent
And go.
Carthier
Vaughn.
is Ezekiel.
Vaughn. um. So, Balthazar is the leader of the mole folk. He is also one of the characters that his name is never directly said in the film. And they they're trying to dig a hole underneath the bank big enough that they can grab the big giant jug of water and stuff. And they pop out in the middle of town. Rango sees them. He's like, "Oh, you're searching for some water. Well, since you're digging so close to the town, you need a permit. You need a permit to what is that thing called back in the day? People used to do in the gold rush and stuff.
Prospect.
Prospecting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said it, but I was muted. But I said it first.
Oh, you heard it here first, first, folks.
You might have been able to hear me yell it in the background.
But yeah, so he gives them a permit to prospect. Um, they the next day, Ringo's woken up to a clamor, goes into the bank. The water's gone. There's a prospecting permit there. Someone tries to look at it. Ringo quickly grabs it before they can read like what it even says and stuff. And so Ringo then has to organize a posse um, to find the the stolen water. Um, Later on, during their like posse adventures, they find Mr. Merrimack, who was the banker, dead in the middle of the desert.
Merrimack the Third. This was also voiced
Merrimack the
by
Third.
Stephen Root.
Yeah, they killed
Yeah,
him.
yep, they killed him. Um, However, the posse then is able to track the robbers of the water, to their giant cave hideout, and they propose a plan. And the plan is great, because they are a traveling group of thespians, um, going through the desert, and they're only here to entertain. Um, and it's pretty awesome. They see this cart that's got this big like jug covered thing, um, but it's covered with this like huge tarp. They roll up on them, and there's like a lesbian
Whoa,
thespian
whoa,
joke
whoa,
that
whoa,
happens.
whoa! We skipped over something. Because when the posse goes through the tunnels, right? They go through the tunnels first. They follow the
Yes.
tunnels that they make.
Yes,
There is a
yes.
big ass fucking eye that you just
I wondered what that
completely.
was too.
Like there is a
It was
gigantic
Godzilla.
fucking eye. Even
Yeah,
Doc goes.
I mean, I
That was a
left it
big
out
one.
because I left it out because like nothing comes of it like
But
whatsoever.
still,
It
what
Yeah.
was
No,
the
it's
The
just
only
a
thing I
fucking?
could
visual.
What was
It
the
was just a
fucking eye?
visual.
The only thing that I would think that would be that size that it could be, even though they don't live around there, is that I know if like a river dries up, like alligators or crocodiles will like bury themselves deep like that in the dirt and go into a hibernation state in
Well, they
droughts.
definitely
But
wouldn't be in that
I don't
region.
know how long he'd be in
Yeah,
there.
no alligators are in the Mojave, man. I mean,
No.
that's not
Yeah,
happening.
that's like the only thing I could think of that would be that huge and be underground like
But yeah,
that.
Doc, the hair goes. Oh, that was a big one.
Oh yeah. Maybe a big old snake too. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. The doctor does say that that's a big one. But I don't know what it is. Like, it would be great if someone would like say what it was. Because I want to know what this underground creature is as
Eldritch
well.
horror.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's crazy things out in the desert, man. Um, but anyways, they follow the tracks, um, through the tunnels and stuff. They eventually find where all the mole people are hanging out, and they disguise themselves as thespians to entertain them. They get Balthazar and his two sons surrounded, and Rango says, "All right, now you're going to give us this water because we've got you and your whole family surrounded." To which Balthazar responds, "Oh, my whole family." And then they call him, and it's a bazillion moles. Like, it is the most moles ever. Um,
The
and
most moles you'll ever see.
yeah, yeah, and they're all animated like slightly. There's no lookalikes. They're all slightly different, which also I think probably played into the budget of the film because,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's easily a couple hundred.
That
Yeah, it's
means
pretty impressive.
Balthazar be fucking.
It turns
Oh,
Mad
Balthazar
Max too.
definitely be fucking. He has sired a lot of these children.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I got from it. That like all of these moles are all his children.
I could assume that
Yeah, I got
giant
that
that giant
vibe.
one was the mom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The queen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so they got to think fast. They are now surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of moles. Um, and we get a really great like action sequence. As was it Spooge or maybe Omi had mentioned that it's a Star Wars
That was
homage.
me. That was good
Oh,
old
that
Smokey.
was
Holy
Smokey.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I said, right? I think it was
I'll take the
Smokey or
credit.
maybe Smokey mentioned that it was a Star Wars homage. Um,
Oh yeah, big Star Wars homage for the trench that's on the
yeah,
Death
it's
Star scene.
great. Yeah, so they're in a canyon, and they are stealing a cart. There's high flying stuff, um, because there are bats. As I think I gonna say Murda mentioned earlier that the bats are essentially planes,
Yes,
and
only I said that. Nobody else.
that's right. And they're throwing sticks of dynamite. They're shooting these like old school what do you call those Gatling guns at them. And it's this huge action scene. Um, Rango flies up in the air a couple of times. There's this one little segment where he's on the attached to a bat by like some string, and he's just like dancing in the air in like his blue dress, and it's whimsical. Is the best way I think to describe it, because he's completely like lost in the moment. Like he is dissociated completely from the reality of his situation, and he's just enjoying like flying through the
I
air
don't
in a
think he's
dress.
dissociated at all. I think he's blending it. I think he's finally, unlike what he was failing to do when we were dealing with the Hawk in the beginning, failing to blend in, he's blending in wonderfully now.
Yeah, Rango, we should also mention too, is very much a Jar Jar Binks style, where he is so clumsy, hurting literally everyone and everything around him. Yet, he's slippery. Nothing ever comes to injure him.
Can you
So
Um,
he's a
can
secret Sith.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a fucking Sith.
Oh
Can
yeah.
you say that it's Jar Jar Binks style when Jar Jar Binks was planning every single move calculated? Because he's
They
an
should have
evil
fucking
fucking
had the
bastard.
balls. They should have had the balls to reveal that shit.
Would be
yeah,
Oh
cool.
man, that would have
be
been so
pretty
fucking
cool.
good.
Be
It
pretty
would make
cool.
sense why he's
Unfortunately,
fucking next to Palpatine all the goddamn time.
yeah, unfortunately, Jar
Everybody
Jar
loved
Binks goes
Jar
to the
Jar.
capital planet.
Why did they pull back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Should love
everybody
Jar
loved
Jar.
Jar Jar. That was
Fucking oh
my memory about it too.
George Lucas said
He's
he
still
was the
cooking.
key.
He was
If it
still
makes
cooking.
if it,
Remember, George Lucas said Jar Jar was the key. They had to have Jar Jar nailed down. He was the whole point behind the fucking.
Said they nailed him to a cross.
and they really did nail him to a cross because the end story of Jar Jar Binks is after the death of Jar Jar's queen. He proceeds to be a um juggler and like what do you call that
This is
street
in
performer.
Legends. This is Legends canon.
Um,
This isn't
uh,
this isn't
outs-
canon, official canon anymore.
uh, okay, I'll stop talking about it.
No, you don't have to stop
So
talking about it. I was just You gotta when it comes to Star Wars fans are gonna go fucking nuts if we don't clarify if it's Legends canon or if it's official canon.
Canon
All these
Oh,
stupid.
Star
okay.
Wars fans that are listening to the Rango podcast.
Hey, you
Get the
know.
fuck out of here, Star Wars fans.
Yeah, get out
Yeah,
of
we
here. No one
hate
cares
you.
about canon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This isn't Grogu cast. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
hey,
or
hey, look,
Grondu for that
Or
matter, so go fuck
Or
yourselves.
Baby Yoda.
we all know Obi-Wan's the worst character. I mean, it's about Ray, right? Like we want to watch Ray, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have
that's
that
a
much of a problem with
bold
Ray, but
that is a bold statement you make in Starvation.
I make all kinds of statements. If they want to tell me about it, tell me why I'm wrong in the comments.
I mean, I watched the prequels, but I didn't watch the Obi-Wan series, so maybe there's something to it.
Obi-Wan series wasn't
Anyways,
bad.
so
Or not
so at the
prequels, the
at the
whatever the fuck they're called. Who
the
cares?
culmination of
Dumb.
this scene, there is a jar that is empty, and the mole people confess that when they stole it, the dad is blind. He is a completely blind mole, but his two sons can see, and
Wasn't
they
it
kept
filled
trying
with
to tell
dirt?
him,
I thought it was filled
"Nope,
with dirt. It
nope,
wasn't.
it's just empty."
Yeah, it was just empty.
Okay.
But yeah, they kept trying to tell the dad that they didn't actually have any water; they just stole the jug. But the
They
dad,
didn't even steal the jug. They
it
found it in the middle of the desert. They did nothing. They did nothing illegal.
okay,
Finders
cool.
keepers laws.
Yeah, and the main point I wanted to get across here is that the dad does not spare the rod from his children. He proceeds to like beat them
Even in the
constantly
air.
and repeatedly.
he beats the shit out of him.
Like even on the bats, he's beating them.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, yeah, and you know the moles use the bats as like airplanes. I think I already talked about that.
Wouldn't it be
However,
Tie
Rango,
Fighters if it was a Star Wars reference?
yeah.
There's kind of also like a what was it, Apocalypse Now thing too, because they had the soundtrack to that going. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 dun,
On a
dun,
banjo
dun,
too.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
well,
that Southern Fried Apocalypse Now.
more than just a banjo. They had a banjo, a harmonica, a washtub bass, and a
I
jug blower for like all of
It's
the
kind of
music that they
like
I
made.
Mad Max Fury Road style.
I could have
Yeah.
done without the harmonica.
But also Emmett Otter mixed in there.
If
Yeah.
Emmett just got caught up in the mix.
Oh,
However, Rango still decides to take him into custody um, because the town thinks that the moles stole the water, and you know Rango's smart enough to know that like he's got to bring some, like he can't just like use you know, this really tiny town's like all of their resources to like, you know, catch the thieves and then come back empty handed, being like, oh, well, they stole it, but they said it was empty beforehand. Like, that's not going to fly over very well. So he brings him into custody, and Rango questions, or wait, hold on. Sorry. So Ringo questions him. We find out, like, you know, all the different things of like they're, you know, essentially innocent. The town wants them to hang. The town wants them dead for stealing all of their water. Um, Meanwhile, something that's been happening in the background that I haven't brought up yet is that Mayor John is buying up all of the land around Dirt. Um, but he cannot get Beans to sell him her ranch.
Now, I shouldn't be thinking too hard on this, but what does he plan on doing with that land? I didn't quite understand.
So
Like,
he
was he
so
adding to Las Vegas? Was he like opening
Yeah,
up
no,
his
no,
little
casinos and stuff?
creature Vegas, right?
he wanted to make a creature Vegas essentially. He wanted to
Okay.
make he's trying to buy up everything so that he can destroy all of it and make it into a metropolis type of situation.
So you're telling me
Um,
that he wants to? Well, I mean, I guess it is gentrification, but he wants to take all the rundown, dilapidated buildings that are obviously falling apart. I mean, they
yeah,
and replace them with
yes,
freshly new buildings and renewed structure and
Yeah, he's
Looks
infrastructure.
like he's
yes.
he's
building it somewhere totally else.
he's
Yeah.
gentrifying.
Right.
Well,
It's the plot of Chinatown.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh damn!
I've
Never
Or
never
seen that
seen
one.
That wasn't a
Chinatown.
joke.
yeah,
I've not seen it.
yeah. Or the another like good way to think about this is like how the mobsters kind of bought and completely had like total control over Vegas like in the early days of like when Vegas became a destination.
Casino.
Um, just buy up everything so that all of the you can use it in multiple different ways. For Mayor John, I imagine it would be like ensuring that he has complete and total control over all of the water, which is simultaneously their lifeblood and their money. Um, so
Which I don't know how that works. If it's their money, but they have to drink it to survive, then how do they? How does that correlate?
yeah, I don't know. But I think it's more just that like because it's the desert, water is a very prized commodity. So like yeah, you need water to live. Just like you need money to live. You can't necessarily eat money, but you would have to like drink your own water and stuff.
I mean, have you
However,
tried?
Because I got that the mayor was just moving the water away from the town and into the New Vegas place.
yeah, yeah, that's why the water has stopped flowing
Yeah.
at dirt because he figured out how to turn it off there. He's essentially hoping that like all of the people around Dirt, they didn't have access to water anymore, so they couldn't pay their like, they couldn't pay maybe their property tax or whatever they had that is paid with water to like keep their property. So they ended up having to sell it, and they were selling it to Mayor John, which made him more water
He
rich.
he
But he's
should have
also
just
the
got
one
rid of the
like
spigot.
controlling the flow of the water.
He should have just got rid of. He shouldn't have turned off the water. He should have just got rid of the spigot. They couldn't turn on the water without that spigot, the sacred spigot
Yeah,
that they treated like a idol.
yeah, and that's something that hasn't been mentioned either is that like every Wednesday there is a citywide ritual where they all like do this like in trance kind of like dance
Very
thing, and then
very
yeah,
cultish
very
going.
culty, and then they go up to this water release area, and they have a spigot that they attach to it, and then they turn on the water, hoping that some water will flow. And nothing has been coming out for quite some time. Um, so it just kind of another interesting element of the film. It's very versatile. Um,
I thought maybe that was a reference to another movie that I didn't know.
um, maybe I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be some films that have like some weird, you know, town that has like a ritual that like everyone in the town like does and believes in and stuff. I mean, the first things that come that are coming to mind is like an M Night Shyamalan film,
Oh,
but that's
I was thinking like The
not.
Wicker Man.
Yeah, The Wicker
Yeah,
Man. Yeah, that's a
not
good one
the
too.
Nicolas Cage one. Well, I guess that one
No, the
too, but
Nicolas
like,
Cage one does the same thing.
yeah, does the same thing. They just had someone in a giant bear costume punch a lady.
Yeah, they did.
That's such a great scene, man. I love that scene.
Hon- Honestly, I like the remake more than the original for that scene.
Yeah, I mean, I like both of them quite a lot.
Getting
I've
off
never
So
topic
seen
here,
I've
but would
never
we
seen
know if he was?
either.
Would we
I've
know
only
if
Double
seen
he?
scenes
feature.
of
We have
Nicolas
to.
Cage
We're definitely gonna have to
punching
do the.
people.
Definitely gonna have to do those in the future. Would we be able to confirm that that was Nick Cage in the bear suit?
Yes,
Fuck
I have
yes.
seen that movie multiple times.
Yeah, boy.
um, so Ringo gets invited by
Ringo. Ringo
Rango
stars in this
Rango
movie.
Rango. Sorry.
The best Beatle.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty excellent. Rango gets invited to a game of golf with Mayor John, and the two of them happen to be golfing with like the Gila Monster guy, Bad Bill, and his whole crew, and Mayor John is just like laying all this stuff on Rango about like he sees like a great future in him and like all these things, and Rango is being almost intentionally obtuse, and is also somewhat I mean at one point he does just straight out like threaten Mayor John. Is like, well, I mean, you said it yourself, whoever's controlling the water, whoever's made the water stop existing around here, like, they've got it, like they're the problem and stuff. And um Mayor John is not happy with Rango playing too much into the part of the lawman. And so we kind of glean that Mayor John is corrupt in some way. We're not really sure how, but he's definitely not down with Rango's line of questioning. So much so that he tells Bad Bill and Bad Bill's gang to bring in Rattlesnake Jake, and they're like, "Well, but he's a killer. You bring him in here, Rango will die." And he's like, I told you to do it, blah.
I
And
don't think I don't think he. I don't think Rattlesnake Jake is a killer. I think he's all show.
I think he's killed a lot of creatures.
yeah, so
Mm,
there's a scene
I don't know about that.
where, well, I do know about that because there's a
He has
scene
an
where
anti-snake bias, so you're not gonna get
the
any
only
leeway
thing
from
I'll
him.
say about Rattlesnake Jake is that Priscilla says, well, that all of the sheriffs always get rid of the hawk, but then you know Rattlesnake Jake always shows up. And then she's like, see all the other sheriffs, and well, we actually get like a funny like Star Trek joke, but it's just this like mound of gravestones that are all like sheriff, this person died, and like all this
Now,
stuff.
are
And
those
one of the tombstones says, he's dead, Jim, which
are
is great.
are those gravestones actual gravestones, or are those put up by the made sure that the mayor put them up after the sheriff would run away, fully alive and well, to scare the town folks and to make sure the legend of
I think all
Rattlesnake
these
Jake.
sheriffs are dead. I think they're dead.
Okay, but
I
wait, Smokey. By your logic, then snakes are totally harmless, and there should be no reason to
This
fear them.
rattlesnake is, yeah. He don't even have the rattler. He
I
don't even
don't
have the rattle.
think this rattlesnake is harmless. I
He's
mean,
got a
he
machine gun.
Did he shoot anybody with the machine gun? No, he shot.
Shot at.
He shot at, but he made
Yeah.
sure to shoot just
I mean, not to
above.
spoil, but he drags somebody away in the end, and he's definitely gonna go ham on him.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's that one. That could have been his first kill, though. This guy is definitely an actor, like Rango.
Nah, this dude is killed. I
Yeah,
But
yeah,
disagree with
his
you.
voice,
yeah.
we
I
already mentioned this, but he is voiced by a Bill Nighy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
are we
in a terrifying and arousing performance.
just like his character in Love Actually?
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Which I thought I don't know, the snake scared me, and like the size of it, like the actual size of the Western Diamondback, they're massive.
yeah,
Like they're
Yeah, they're thick
huge.
they're
too.
huge snakes.
They are
Well,
thick.
with the proportion size of all the other creatures, that he's definitely in proportion to them. Like that's
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it did
but
seem
they
like it's
got his
proportion.
size right
Well,
at least.
he's ex. Well, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I think his size is actually more over endowed because of all the other creatures being bigger. Like
Mm.
he's
I
massive.
mean,
He's a
some of the
huge
creatures are
snake.
like too big, but some of them are too small.
Yeah, that's
It's all
true.
Wait,
about the
so
ties with you people.
You know
yeah.
Yeah.
what? I'm fascinated with the animals, and I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but
Mhm.
notice.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Um, because of all this, Rattlesnake Jake does show up in town, and he calls out Rango, and he strips down Rango's make believe world that he's been living in as this hero of the city of dirt. And he basically tells him, like, you're nothing but a liar and a big phony. Like, you did not kill those 7 Jenkin boys, and like all this stuff. And just completely demolishes him verbally. And um, Rango, feeling dejected and small, returns back to the highway. And we get some excellent. I don't know if I could say it on YouTube or not, but we get some excellent surrealism and absurdism, as is wont to happen in the middle of the desert. As I don't. I mean, it's really trippy. I guess like it's like hallucinogenic to a
Cancelled.
degree. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get kicked now. Um, but
Because he's
but
doing like
yeah,
peyote style,
yeah. I mean, it definitely seems that way. However,
I mean, he could just be having
dehydrated,
hallucinations before. Yeah, he could just be.
sunstroke.
yeah, yeah.
He's
But
definitely. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
let's face it. The spirit of the West is definitely a hallucination.
yeah,
I thought
he
I
is.
thought maybe he wasn't a hallucination. Like he was just some eccentric dude that like goes and metal detects in the desert.
And talks to chameleons.
Yeah,
How do
Directly
we
Yeah,
talks
know
yeah.
to
that the
lizards.
spirit of the West wasn't the one that was hallucinating?
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
it could
That
have
could
that
maybe
be.
could have just been
he
Hunter S.
halluc.
Thompson.
Yeah, exactly.
He lived out in
Finding
the desert and
he's
talks
finding
probably talks
Oscars
to
in the
animals.
desert.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did find an Oscar.
He found like
Yeah,
Wonder who
four
threw that.
Oscars.
5.
Five. Sorry.
um, but the only reason 5 is just because of it being Clint Eastwood and stuff. But anyways, Rango makes it back to the highway, and we get roadkill again. Um, roadkill is actually like fine, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm preparing to go to the other side and stuff." And this time, Rango, instead of scurrying across to the highway or anything like that, he just walks slowly in between all of these cars that are just flying past. And when he gets to the other side, we get like a whiteout. And all of a sudden, it's like white desert sands, and we meet the spirit of the West, who, as people have mentioned earlier, uh, he's metal detecting in the middle of the desert, finding Oscars and collecting them in his golf cart in his white chariot, um, guarded by golden statues, I think, or something like that. The movie sets it up really well.
They should have showed a skeleton sitting down. That would have been a Donner Party reference. Because that old man that just sat down and they just left him.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been cool too. Um, the spirit of the West basically tells him that, regardless of how he feels, like this is still his life story, um, and he has a lot of experience with being the man with no name, and he advises. Rango, regardless of like who he thinks he
It
is.
says in the
Um,
desert you can't remember your name.
that's right.
Horses have no names either.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, but it does feel good to get out on the plains. Um, However, the spirit tells him no man can walk out of his own story. He's got to see this thing through, whether that means he gets killed or he succeeds.
You gotta finish your hero's journey. You gotta do it.
Yeah. He meets back up with Roadkill, and there are the mystical moving yuccas. This whole maybe 20 minutes of this film is like some of the best animation ever from this era. Like it's so excellent. It is like so an aesthetic that I love, and also with it being so surreal, it's really cool. The yuccas, also called Spanish blades, are supposedly like the history and lore behind them is that they always walk towards water, and in this film that actually is a real thing. And so they follow the yuccas to find an emergency shutoff valve in a water pipeline to Las Vegas. And Mayor John has been manipulating it to cause a water shortage so that he could buy all the land around Dirt. Um, Rango, triumphantly with this new knowledge, returns to the city of Dirt, and he just straight calls out Jake to a duel. Um, and this is all a diversion to prevent Mayor John or Jake or Bad Bill or any of the bad actors in this film, um, to prevent them from letting the Yuccas restore the town's water. Um, the the fight um, becomes extreme. There's a the bats act like a hawk to scare Jake. He realizes it's a bat and he shoots down and kills probably like two or three different bats,
Oh
and
yeah,
all of the
there's some
moles
guys you
that are
kill.
on the bat. Um,
Did we see them die? No, we saw them get shot. You can survive a gunshot
They
wound.
explode.
They do explode.
yep, they explode.
Dead.
Um,
They're pretty dead, man.
I think they're dead.
um,
Did they explode when they
Balthazar,
get shot here? I know they exploded during the trench scene, but did they?
Yeah,
yeah,
they
they
do.
do.
There's
They
more bad
explode.
explosions.
Yep.
What's with these
And
Is that? Oh shit! Do you think that's a fucking CIA reference to when they try to fucking use bat bombs?
Oh
It'd be
shit,
a
maybe
real
they found
deep,
him.
deep cut.
yeah, that is quite the deep cut. I don't
I
think
mean,
any
why
of that
else
was
would the fucking
intentional.
why? I
They
I mean,
ditched him in the Mojave.
even if not, at least I was able to explain why these bats are exploding.
Sure.
Um, the duel, Rango only gets one bullet. Um, and things quickly turn sour. Jake pretty much overwhelms them incredibly quickly, and the mayor throws Rango and Beans into a jar of water that is slowly filling up. Classic villain move. You got to set up the elaborate trap and then leave them to their own devices. Um, Beans accidentally swallows Rango's one bullet, um, and she becomes as starting to run out of air and space to actually breathe. She gets stressed and freezes. As she freezes, Rango grabs her, starts doing the Heimlich on her. She eventually comes back from her freeze, hacks up the bullet. Bullet hits just the right area for this glass, and it explodes the water out. The yuccas have now turned on the water, and all of the water is filling up all of the moles tunnels that they've been digging under the city this whole time, and the entire city is just flooded with water. Um, and it's really good looking water too. Just to really highlight again, the animation
Isn't
on
this
this
around the
film is
time
great.
Rattlesnake Jake shows what big of a flip flopper he is and just turns on the mayor out of nowhere?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
the mayor turned on him
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
first.
Yep.
The mayor
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
on
He
him
was like,
first.
Yeah, he was like, there ain't no room for any outlaws in my new future.
Yeah, so
Your old news.
yeah,
Mm.
so he
Mm,
basically
mm, mm.
tells Rattlesnake Jake is guns, gunslingers and lawmen, you and Rango are, cut from the same cloth, and we don't need that in the new West that I'm trying to build. Now we're no longer lawmen and robbers. We're now businessmen. Um, and he
So yeah, he tried to kill him
banishes. He tries to
or
kill him.
banish him or whatever. I
He
think he
picks
was
up
trying to
the
kill
empty
him.
revolver.
Yes. Oh yeah, because Rango slipped the bullet out of the revolver
Hmm.
in anticipation of that, and then
Yeah,
the tortoise tried to shoot Rattlesnake Jake, but there was no bullet in it.
Yep.
yeah.
And instead, the bullet breaks the water. Town gets flooded. Um, it's really great. Um, Impressed. Jake salutes Rango for
Yeah,
ridding the
he
town.
notices the one bullet on the ground and
Yep,
suspects that was how
He
he got out.
I
yep.
think he saw Rango snatch the bullet.
I
Oh.
know that he does realize that it was one bullet.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Specifically, Jake is like, "Wow, you really did do it with one bullet and stuff." And this is where Jake goes, like basically, "Fuck you, Mayor John." Scoops him up and like just
Drags
like
him
drags
away.
him off into the
And go
desert to his lair.
proceeds to Nort
He is
the
getting
mare.
that
Nort it.
tortoise.
That tortoise
That
is
tortoise is
Nort
Nordic.
it.
getting fucked up.
It is Nort it. Your
Um,
boy.
this
That's what we
Although we
call
describe
a
the
Nordic
scene, it's
tortoise.
like disturbing. It's just the way that the scene is like made. It's just like it's a disturbing scene to watch.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's already like on his back
on his
too, so he
back,
can't like
yeah,
flip over. And I think he was like on a wheelchair too, so he couldn't really move anyway.
yeah.
If any
The
character
city,
deserved, if any character deserved to be Nordit, it was that goddamn tortoise.
I mean, he deserved it, but why'd they have to make him cute and in a wheelchair?
yeah, that's true.
You
Um,
know, unfortunately, Nordit, you gotta be a boy to be Nordit, and that tortoise was still a boy.
Still
um,
don't know what that means.
the city celebrates the
I
return of
don't
the
want to
water.
know.
Rango
I don't
is
think I
now
know anymore.
It is
a
a
true
Kingdom Hearts
hero of the
reference, but
West,
I'm using it. I'm
and
doubling it up.
it's so excellent. Um, Something that has not been mentioned this entire time is that there is four burrowing owls that play a mariachi band
They're kind of
that
narrating.
narrate the
Yeah.
story. Yes, and they basically say like Rango is now the new hero and stuff. And then we get credits.
The
I
leader
can't
of the
believe we didn't mention
mariachi
those
band.
owls. They were like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, the owls were great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the main one is voiced by a George Hayo
Why you
Delhoyo.
always gotta be pronouncing stuff, dog?
Hey, this is the only way we learn. Hey, you can't just look at a
What? How
foreign
do you,
name
okay?
and know.
Now I Delhoyo. How else am I supposed to fucking pronounce that?
What's the first name?
Wait,
George.
Del
DEL.
Hoyo.
George.
Del Hoyo.
Yeah.
Jorge Del Hoyo. Senor Flan. The mariachi
Senor Flan.
accordion.
Oh, his name was Senor Flan.
Yep.
And now I could really go for some flan.
Yeah, me too.
I'd
Flan's
go for
awesome.
that too, for sure.
But we missed some
A
names.
nice
that we
rum
should
flan.
list.
Hmm.
There are some names. We had a Alana Ubach played Ubek. Ubach.
Dog.
I'm doing it
Dog,
on
I
purpose.
just told you.
I'm
Dog,
doing
I
it on
just
purpose
told you.
now. I'm doing it on purpose now.
Hey, it's not a Hispanic name. See, equal opportunity
Oh.
mispronunciation.
Oh,
She played Boo.
that's not a good sentence.
She played Boo, Cletus, and Cletus the raccoon. There was a Ian Abercrombie played Ambrose. That's Abercrombie. I don't want to.
Who's Ambrose?
Ambrose? I mean, Ambrose is a real name.
I said, well, who is he?
A
He's another
burrowing
burrowing-
owl. Yeah.
Oh, so he's
Oh.
part of the band?
This was this guy's final film appearance before his death in 2012.
That's
That's
sad.
sad.
You got Gil
damn.
Birmingham as the wounded bird, a crow who becomes Rango's deputy.
Oh, yeah.
The crow. The crow is good.
Yeah.
What if
Uh,
he's supposed to be part of the Crow Nation?
Waffles the horn lizard was
Yeah,
voiced by
definitely,
James,
definitely Spooge.
Waffles the horn lizard was voiced by a James Ward fucking
Beer kit.
Byrick
Beer kit.
Byrick
Beer kit.
Claudia.
See, equal opportunity mispronunciation.
Blake Clark played Buford, the Colorado River toad, who is the bartender.
Nice.
Who
Claudia
else
Black
should-
as Angelique.
We mentioned her. That's the Red Fox secretary. I mentioned her when we mentioned.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Furry bait.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Charles Flesher played Elbows.
Cool.
If
Good old
anybody wants
Elbows.
to know. They don't say what character.
Did
it just
we-
says Elbows.
Did we mention John Cothran for Elgin?
The Bobcat. Yes. No, we did not. No.
Oh, at least. Oh, so I.
There's
I
a
had to look-
bobcat?
Yeah, there was a bobcat. I noticed.
Why is he that small? I knew there was a cat, but he was a
Yeah,
bobcat?
it was really
Yeah.
small.
How is he?
That's what I'm
He's smaller than
saying.
a hawk and a snake.
That's what I was saying the whole time about these animal proportions. None of them made sense.
I guess they just had like the dwarfism. I mean, that is the thing in
I mean,
animals.
Rango shouldn't have been as tall as most of these animals. Like he's like Kermit sized.
But then he was like regular compared to the spirit, right? Like the human-sized spirit.
No. The spear was way bigger than him.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so he
I
was
feel
proportional,
like
though, right?
What a chameleon would still be a lot tinier than he looked compared
It
to
depends
that
on the
human.
chameleon. There could be there's some that are
Some
get
of
like
them-
at least
I-
like
I've seen
as
some
big
of
as your
them get
hand,
pretty decent
you know,
size.
bigger than your hand. Some
Now
of
I'm
them are real
just
small,
weirdly
though.
thinking about Fear and Loathing Las Vegas lines, but said as Kermit.
It would work.
Okay.
It would work.
We
It would.
just got a couple of more names. Beth Grant played Bonnie. I do not know who Bonnie is. They do not say.
They don't say what the animal is.
Nope. Himiki. That's totally. Now this ain't how you pronounce it, but this is how they spell Madara. So Himiki Madara fucking plays Chorizo the Shrew.
I did notice this true.
Chorizo?
Chorizo.
That's a sausage, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna defend you there. I love chorizo. So.
Go on.
Chris-
Who else?
Chris Parson plays Hazel Mounts, Kinski, Stump, Clinker, Lenny, Bosfit, and Dirt Kid.
Bosfit?
Bosfit or Bosfit? One of the two. Bosfeet?
Buffy. You pronounce things like my dad. I think that's just and it's okay.
Lou Temple plays Fargus, a bald eagle, in Hitch. I don't remember there being a bald eagle. Oh, I guess that's the chicken with the arrow in it. I guess that's a bald-
But he wasn't a
Oh.
bald eagle.
I guess so. I guess it was.
You know, that was it looked like a
Oh
chicken.
no! Okay, that was played by Gore. That was played by the director Gord Verbinski. That was Sergeant.
That
Turkey.
chicken?
The
It was a
chicken,
wild
the
turkey
turkey,
with an
yeah.
arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But I don't remember the
Can we
There's a
go
bald
back to
eagle?
calling it a chicken,
yeah,
though?
apparently there's a bald eagle.
I
played by
thought he
Lee
was a
Temple.
chicken, but
And also, why would the hawk be like an apex monster if there was a bald eagle just amongst the crowd?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of like the dynamics of the animals. Like the roadrunners, they just use them as horses pretty much, and like none of them were talking. But there were other
Yeah,
birds that were like
They're like
townsfolk.
chocobos.
Some
Yeah,
deep
pretty
role
much.
play going on.
Yeah. I mean, the hawk also didn't speak, but I feel like maybe if it wanted to, it could have.
Yeah.
Mm.
It seemed like it could.
There's two more names. There is Kim Whitney plays Melania
Melania Trump.
Maloney, the frog. She's the thick frog that's in the bar.
Oh,
Oh
with
yeah,
the
with the
titties.
titties.
The big old.
We
I don't know how I
Also-
felt about that.
I didn't mind it.
And then
It was sort of gross.
They saved the best.
Yeah,
for
but it was
last.
gross in a fun way.
Yeah, because all you can assume is that the frog,
Let's
the
just
toad
say it was
might not
less
have
arousing
titties.
than Bill Nye.
Oh yeah,
Less arousing. Yeah.
less.
I wasn't aroused, but I still looked at them titties every time they were on
Well,
screen.
yeah, they're massive.
I would just want to know
hard
if, like,
not
if it
to.
was being if the fat was just being squeezed into titties.
Maybe
Like,
she
with
did.
the
Maybe
corset?
But,
How
the
far we've
best-
devolved in this.
We saved
Too
the
far.
best
I'm
for
asking the
last.
real questions.
We saved the best
You-
voice actor for last. It's Alex Moonganian as Spoons.
Moon Ganian.
Spoons was pretty awesome.
I love Spoons.
Oh yeah.
He was the little mouse.
Yeah, not just a mouse, but he was a prospecting mouse, and he ate human. He ate fucking human.
Oh yeah. Mouse would do that.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of
I
these
feel like a
creatures
mouse
would
would do
eat
that.
a human if they died in the desert.
That
To
is,
be
Oh, yeah.
fair.
but he's the only one that admitted it at the bonfire. That he legitimately stated. That
He's
I-
brave enough to admit that he would
Mhm.
and did.
I mean, I'd be bragging if I was a mouse that I ate a person.
Fuck
I feel
yeah.
like that get you some class.
Yeah, it definitely would.
But yeah, that's all
Did
the
we
voice.
get through them all?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was
I
the-
did.
think so.
I did want to mention because I was wondering about the crow and like when you hear the again stereotypical like native indigenous accent. That voice actor did have a Comanche father, so we're good there.
Gilbert.
Okay. That's good.
Glad.
Everyone. Everyone
Everyone
can
was
rest it.
wondering, and I solved that for them. So
Thank you.
Could Johnny Depp?
he shouldn't have,
Oh,
but he
Lord.
did.
he's got a
Just
looks like a
just
little
wait,
percentage.
just wait 2 years, and he's Tonto in the Lone Ranger, directed
Oh,
by
yeah.
Gore Verbinski.
Yep. A masterclass of a film.
That's one of the very few Johnny Depp films that I would not even be on that hill.
Johnny Depp has got a few stinkers.
Yeah, he
let's
does.
all be
He
honest.
That
does.
is one.
He
That's
does. He
definitely
got some,
one
he
of
got
them.
some
Have y'all
stickies.
fucking seen Mordecai? I wish the Jeff Goldblum before I knew what that meant. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
No,
Fucking
I,
Mordecai
I,
sucked
I
ass.
didn't want. I didn't want to see it.
I heard it was pretty bad, but I
That's
never saw
awful.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, pretty bad.
I gotta
It's
say,
not
Rather
great.
rather watch it than
I'm a-
Mordecai.
I'm
it. I'm a
strongly
Charlie and the
nostalgic.
Chocolate Factory defender.
I watched
Oh.
Charlie the
Oh.
Chocolate Factory recently
I didn't-
alongside Willy Wonka. I'm nostalgic for
I've been
it. I gotta
forced.
say, it's
I've been
got a
forced to see it too much too.
I did not enjoy that performance.
I didn't either. I had to watch it on the bus to a fucking church camp that was like 12
Ooh.
hours long, along with the Dark Knight, which was probably the best one out of all those that they kept showing, and then Transformers.
Oof.
Oh.
It's a rough
Yeah.
selection.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, the
And
Dark Knight's
Avatar.
good, but like you don't want to watch the Dark Knight like back to back.
No.
Avatar was a
I
lot
don't
too.
have-
There's a lot of Avatar.
Which Avatar?
Ugh.
The first one.
The James
Because
Cameron
it's
one.
back
The
then.
the blue
Yeah.
blue people or the
Yeah,
M. Night
blue
Shyamalan?
people.
Blue people. Blue people.
You gotta
I mean,
because
they're all
there's
bad.
another live action Avatar, the Last Airbender coming out, so you got to clarify that
No,
it's the
just
MSM one.
Avatar, and not whatever that like old movie that was called Avatar that I always see that I don't even know what it's about. It's also called Avatar.
Are we
Are
ready
you are
for
you
all
not
of
you're
the
not talking
Western
about the
homages in this
Aviator, are
film?
you?
Yeah, let's go.
Yes.
Might be.
All right, cool. So, at the poker table in the saloon, when Rango first enters, there's an owl in a top hat holding a pair of black aces and a pair of black eights. These were the cards held by notorious Wild West gunman Wild Bill Hickok
Bill Hickok.
the moment he was shot dead in a saloon in Deadwood, South Dakota. Bill's hand is since known as the Dead Man's Hand.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Now I have to clarify. Does the Dead Man's Hand means you've won or you've lost?
It means you're about to
It means
get
you're gonna
shot.
get. It means you're
You're
gonna
about to
die.
get,
You're gonna
yeah,
get shot.
I mean,
you
in
got
the
got.
context of poker, why did the motherfucker shoot him? Because he was winning, or
Because he
He
was
was
he lost?
cheating.
cheating.
He was
He
cheating.
He was
cheating.
cheating. Um, but it's just the hand that Bill Hickok was holding. That's its main significance, really. Um, interesting thing too. Smokey had already mentioned this, but they all did the voice acting work together on a set. This was also done for Shark Tale back in 2004. And also, um, the voice actors were given Wild West costumes while they were doing this. They were actually, kind of in costume as well as character, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
really wish they would release the whole. There's only fucking snippets online. They will. I cannot find the full version. I wish they'd release it. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
there's
I mean, I
probably
would
like
watch
some.
that.
There's probably like some special Blu-ray that has it. Just nobody has ripped it off yet.
It's like method acting in the best way, not the Jared Leto way.
Yeah, no
Right.
one wants the Jared Leto way. Not even Jared Leto.
No, he definitely wants it and he loves to.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't. I feel like he's just using it as an excuse for attention.
Yeah, he
Um,
loves he loves to do that shit.
He's a
um,
cult leader.
yeah,
I
he
love
is.
how method acting is like the one thing both like good people and bad people just fucking hate. Like
Yeah,
Jack Nicholson is like a notoriously bad dude, and he's just like, oh fuck
Yeah.
actors. Like
Rattlesnake Jake is modeled after Lee Van Cleef.
from Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yep. Um,
Good Primus song too.
I need to watch it to see if I'm scared and aroused. I bet I won't be.
well, that's also why Rattlesnake Jake is like always like look into my eyes and see if you're a killer because Lee Van Cleef, also affectionately known as Angel Eyes, because he's got these very very striking eyes, um, and he uses them to great effect.
He's also got a tiny mustache. Did anybody else notice that? The tiny little stash he
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
going.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
he did.
When Rango claims to have killed all seven Jenkins brothers with one bullet, the boast is an allusion to the fairy tale The Valiant Little Tailor, who kills seven flies with one swipe of his hand, but convinces everyone he meets that he has killed seven men with one blow. Um, Kind of straying a little bit away from some of the Western stuff, but during the scene in which Ringo describes the spirit of the West to the townspeople by drawing images in the sky with the smoldering stick, it's possible to spot the logo of American rock band Kiss, Imperial TIE fighters from Star Wars, a shark fin, a dinosaur, and a Kilroy was here drawing for a brief moment.
Nice.
I didn't see the Kilroy
Was
was here thing. I want. Damn. I'm upset that I missed that.
I feel like
Yeah,
I
it's
saw that.
classic. Yeah, I saw it. Um, this was the only non-Disney Pixar film of the 2010s to win an Oscar for Best Animated Feature. I think we already mentioned that actually until Spider-Man. Um, Let's see. So the headstones of Dirt's graveyard with the little girl points Rango to Amos's tome. The epitaphs read: Sheriff Kippy, rest in pieces. Sheriff Tucker, hold my beer and watch this. Sheriff Amos, Thursday through Saturday, rip, and he's dead, Jim, which is the Star Trek reference. When Rango is talking to the spirit of the West, Rango says, "They used to call you the man with no name," which is Clint Eastwood's Western movie persona.
Nice.
Uh, let's see. Although he receives special billing as the spirit of the West, Timothy Oliphant actually only has 9 lines. Also, the actor self-professed for playing, quote, a lot of characters wearing hats. Uh, were here his animated counterpart, the Spirit of the West, also wears a hat. Um, Although Johnny Depp is widely known for disliking to watch any of his own films, he claims to love watching both this film and The Corpse Bride. One of his two only other animated films, the other being Sherlock Gnomes with his kids.
He's in that.
I guess. I don't.
I
I
know.
don't even know what that is.
You've never seen
I
Sherlock
do.
Gnomes? Oh man, that's going on the list. That's
No,
going on the
I
No,
list.
they're really bad because it's like there's like a I don't know what company did it, but they had Sherlock Gnomes. They also had like Gnomeo and Juliet,
Romeo and
and
Juliet's
they're
the
all
first
really
one, and then Sherlock Gnomes came out. I think they're
yeah, they're
I think
really
they're
badly
connected.
animated.
If I'm
I
not
think
if
I
I'm
think they're
not
just connected
connected,
by the
but
same
then
animation type.
I could have swore that they're like connected in universe, but I could be wrong on that.
the Gnomiverse.
Maybe Nobiverse. They
But
tried. I think
this
they definitely
Rango,
tried.
going back to Rango, there was a bit of a controversy with this movie. The Sacramento, California-based anti-smoking organization Breathe California regards this film as a public health hazard. It
Yep.
it's it said there was at
Boo.
least
Damn it, California.
60 instances of smoking in the film. Because of this,
Yep.
some anti-smoking organizations, including Breathe California, petitioned for the film to receive an R rating instead of the original PG rating.
Come on, Jesus.
An
They
It's
really
a bit
shot
R.
of
high. Not even PG-13.
My
Fucking
yeah. It's a
R.
bit of
goodness.
overkill.
That's why no.
However,
That's why they don't do any progress because they're dumb like this. You can't meet in the
however,
middle
Yeah,
or like.
they're being a real PETA about it, honestly.
Yeah.
no change was made to the smoking scenes, and the film maintained its PG rating. So
As
they
it
told
should.
Your
you
boy.
fucked.
They just got fucking ignored. They're like,
Yeah.
nah.
Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? To be honest, I didn't even notice the smoking in this.
I didn't either, really.
I mean, I did.
I mean, slightly, but
But
it didn't make me want a cigarette or nothing. Like,
I
yeah.
wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
my
It's like
kids are gonna fucking. I can't show my kids
I
this.
know
They're
that
gonna want to smoke.
oh,
tortoise.
you want to be like this decrepit animal? Like,
Mhm.
it's
I guess the
not.
first smoking scene would be like the little Fear and Loathing dude first,
Yeah.
and then the cigar was being smoked by the tortoise mayor.
Yeah.
Then did
A,
Rattlesnake
Folded.
a
Jake have a
cigar,
something?
a cigar is such a like a style. I feel like a cigar doesn't make anybody want to take up smoking. It's just like a
Mhm.
style choice almost.
But this was the time when like now in animation it's really rare to see like even like people smoking in like kids animation than it was like in the like 90s and early 2000s stuff. Those they really went hard on it.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Ridiculous.
did.
But they at least they got fucking told no.
They got ignored.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
you could always ignore them.
Roger Deakins consulted on the film's unique visual style, and that is important because Roger Deakins is a cinematographer best known for his work on the films of the Coen brothers. Um,
Oh shit,
Ah,
that makes sense of Buster
there's a
Scruggs having some references to
connection.
this. Yeah, because that's Coen Brothers.
Yeah, it does.
yeah,
It does. I'm glad that connection
We
was
also
finally made because it was bothering the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
let's see here. Rango refers to Priscilla the mouse as little sister, which is also Rooster Cogburn's pet name for Maddie Ross in True Grit.
Yeah. I like the original of that. I didn't like the remake.
I've
Yeah,
I
only
think that was
seen
it.
I've only seen the remake.
I mean
True
it's
Grit is the
referencing the
only good.
1969.
Yeah. True Grit's the only good John Wayne film. That's my hot take.
Oh shit.
Eh,
Because he plays what he knows, an alcoholic.
yeah, yeah. Um, both scenes in which Rango was running away or being chased in the desert and in the town right before he meets the mayor were nods and rip-offs of the chase scenes from Raising Arizona, particularly the music. Which Raising Arizona is a great film.
Mhm.
No one's seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we've
still
I
I've
haven't
haven't.
seen
seen it.
that.
Let's see. Roadkill the Armadillo is the image of Don Quixote de la Mancha, complete with armor and lance. A character who, like Rango, was driven by chivalrous ideals to defend the helpless and destroy the wicked.
But
Oh.
was a total dumbass. He was.
Yeah. He's a
um,
comedic sort of figure.
A bumbler.
yeah.
The old bumbler.
Words
Nice.
of wisdom
So,
from the spirit of the West. Sometimes you have to dig deep to find what you're looking for. Doesn't matter what they call you, it's the deeds that make you. Then be a hero. It's not about
It's
you,
the
it's about
Beatles.
them.
The Beatles that make you.
The Deedles or the Beatles?
The
Deedles.
Beatles.
Well,
so
do we want to get into
yeah, I'm
final
thinking final thoughts.
thoughts?
Is there any more
Yeah.
production you got, Starfish? Is there any more?
um, one one more small one. In the beginning of the film, Rango says he will become the greatest lover the world has ever known. In Don Juan DeMarco, 1994, Johnny Depp played a mental patient who believes he is the world's greatest lover.
Hmm. I'm interested to see it. Sounds interesting.
All right. So yeah, we'll get into final thoughts here. I have to go last because I'm conflicted on my rating.
Hmm.
So I have to know what everybody's rating is first before I give mine.
Sounds like you should just be confident in your own rating.
Well, maybe
Called out!
maybe it's because I want to suggest something, but I'm not going to suggest it until I can confirm that I can suggest it.
I like that
Oh.
better. I like that better than you being negative. Um, I guess
Coming
I'll
in
go
hot.
first. I'm always coming in hot. Fucking combative.
If
Um,
one movie, Jeff Goldblum. I guess I'm giving all of them a Jeff Goldblum now.
It's
I don't
because the
know.
one you
Okay,
gave it to.
it's
That's the
because of
problem.
the one you gave to Omi. Smokey gave Mulholland Drive a Jeff Goldblum.
What?
Yeah, so that's I'm gonna be forever salty about it. So I can't help it.
It's gonna make some
That
lovely
is
bits in the
wild.
future.
It's not fair. The reasons aren't. We can't get into that now. I'm just saying, like, the reasons aren't even legit to me. But that's okay. We're not. We're past it. We're
I didn't
past
get
it.
my TV show
Are we?
is a legitimate reason.
No, I'll never be past it.
You didn't get his TV show.
Anyway, my thoughts for rating. I think I might have landed on a 4.5.
Damn.
I think.
Really?
Is that really for what, high or low, you think?
That's low for what I was hoping, but hey, it just keep
What
good with your final thoughts.
It's yeah, yeah.
What is what?
Don't let
It's
other
not
people
low. It's a really high
influence your
rating.
decision.
It's a high rating.
Don't let
That's a
other
very
people
high.
influence your
No.
decision.
It's not going to influence it. I just want to know why that was surprising. I guess.
I've said it once and I've
We'll
said it
wait
again.
until my final thoughts.
Well, Omi's the one who said, "Really? Like surprising?" I want to know why.
I
Tell
mean,
me
and
why.
you will when it gets to me.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Okay, yeah, we'll
All
wait
right,
for his
good.
turn. Well,
I mean,
let you
I
go.
think
Let you
Omi
finish.
might like this film.
I couldn't tell by that reaction. The 4.5 means I fucking love this film. That means I fucking love it. I can't give every film that I love a 5. I just can't. It has to really, really be perfect. To me, personally, perfect. And I
Good.
guess like sometimes this film, like where it's not perfect to me, I guess sometimes the dialogue drags a little bit. And I appreciate a lot of the dialogue, but sometimes I'm just like, I want to get back to the visuals and action.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only place that it falls flat, and it doesn't really even fall flat. 4.5 is a very high rating. I give movies that I really like 3.5s and 3s, so y'all don't gaslight me.
Oh, yeah. I will. I know how the ratings work.
I think the visuals in this film are like really beautiful. There was like parts where they were showing like individual grains of like shining sand, and it looked really cool. I loved all the creature designs, even if their proportions were not accurate. I got over that. It took me a second, but I had to laugh about it more than anything. I love looking at all the creatures and then looking them up to see what their real creature was, and then they were all real desert species, and that really like thrilled me. So I love that. I liked a lot of the dialogue. I thought it was funny. Some of the jokes fell a little flat. Um, I thought the story was really good. I thought all the action scenes were good. I think maybe it's slightly long as well, as where maybe it dwindles like in a point or a half quarter of a point or something. It's a little bit long. I think you could safely cut like 10-15 minutes off of it. That being said, I didn't really find myself like ever bored, and I've seen this movie a lot. It's a really good movie to watch while you're real stoned. Um, I don't know what else to say. 4.5, and that's a really fucking good rating, y'all. 4.5.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
It
agree.
just disqualifies it from a god tier, which is upsetting.
Man, this is some bullshit!
Not everything can be a god tier.
Hey, weren't you just talking about not everything, boss? I thought you said you didn't want everything being a god tier.
True, you did say that
That
on
was
this
back.
episode.
That was back on
An hour
season
ago,
0.
2 hours ago.
That was. I was talking about an episode that is not even canon to the Loose Butthole reviews. It is season 0.
It was opinion he used to have.
All right, Omi, why don't you go?
Okay, so you're right. 4.5 is a great rating for it. But yeah, I also thought this might be a god tier. I love this movie so much. Like
Is this why
the characters.
your chameleon is a chameleon?
Yes, actually.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's noise.
Yeah, so this is one of those movies where like I've been obsessed with since it came out. I love all the movie references. I love the design and the animation that went into it. I think this is Johnny Depp's best role.
Wow.
I really like
Yeah,
Captain Jack though.
I mean Captain Jack is really good in
In the
that
first
first
one.
one.
In the first
Yeah,
one. Have to
in that
clarify.
first one. Granted, Rango didn't get a sequel, so who knows? Maybe his Rango in part two would have been bad.
I didn't kiss the Rango poster on the back of my door. I did kiss the Jack Sparrow poster on the back of my door though.
What about a
Fair
secret
enough.
window?
Fair enough.
I
Well,
did have
he
a
stole my
secret.
story, so
I had a poster of like secret window era Johnny Depp with the fucked up bleach hair.
Only 90s kids will get this desperation.
I have a very similar hat to what he wears in that. And my roommate Andy is constantly walking around and saying, "You stole my story."
You stole my story.
Nice.
But
I
yeah, for
love it.
me, this movie is definitely a 5. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Who wants to go next?
Nice. I'll go for it. I chose this film. Um, so I think people probably know what I think about this film. But just to reiterate and consolidate my thoughts, um, this film to me is such a love letter to like the westerns um, of the past, but portrayed in a way that's highly engaging. Um, you know, reading off all of these, and I didn't even read off all of them, but there, I mean, there's tons and tons of like Western references, alongside other movie references as well. Omi brought up Chinatown. That is an intentional like thing that is used by Ned Beatty. Like he took the inspiration from the mayor from John Huston in Chinatown, which is really cool. So there's a lot of stuff like that in this film, and it speaks to me on a not primal level, but definitely like a young like growing up level, like seeing all the desert and stuff. Recently I went to Vegas and it was like in a colder month, and walking outside, like it felt like what every morning felt like whenever I would wake up and like go to school and stuff. So I extremely love this film. This is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Let's take
um
a group trip to Vegas.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Gotta do a
Um,
Rango
Okay.
special.
Got one taker.
I
Hey,
There you
mean,
as long
go.
I'm
as
always down. That sounds great.
All right,
we
here we
we
go.
making it content, I'm down.
yeah,
Psycho
um,
Vegas.
yeah, and yeah, it's just great. The dialogue is excellent. The delivery is prime. The animation really is what makes me want to see this movie again, because every time I watch it, I see something I didn't see before, which really speaks to like the layer and level of detail that the
It makes me
animators
it makes me
used.
miss when like real care was put into animated films, not
Yeah,
just pumped
True.
out garbage.
yeah,
Memes.
yeah.
You
Yeah, we're
you
kind
didn't
of
like the
entering that
you're
again now.
telling me you didn't like the Paw Patrol?
I don't have children. There's no reason I should.
But yeah, that's it for me. 5 out of 5.
Nice.
Spooge?
Spooge, that will be you. You're next.
Oh yeah, I very much enjoyed it. Same with Murda though. There was little points when some dialogue dragged a little bit, and though I can't really give it, I can't take like a full point away for it. Though there was one pet peeve that I have in films where they kind of over flashback things that are obvious to the audience. Though this was aimed at kids, so I could see why they would find that more. I get more mad when it's like for like films like only for adults that still do that, when they just like over flashback, like, oh yeah, this, do you remember this, do you remember when he said this, that seems strange, well yes, it's confirmed now, do you remember, you see this
Yeah,
flashback?
no subtlety.
And it was, they had a really long one in this, but but yeah, it was, I mean, visually it's amazing, especially for the time. I mean, it still very much holds up. Uh, and just being, it's always nice to see a non-Pixar slash Disney movie like, you know, make something like this good with this much of a budget. What was the? I mean, the budget was. I mean, like how much?
135
I wonder how much of it actually like went to the animation, and like how much of it was just to the stars.
went to
But
Johnny
I mean,
Depp.
it seemed like it would. There had a. I mean, there's a lot of that put into the animation there because it still holds up better than a lot of the things I see in the theaters today that are new. Especially just with its kind of like surrealistic way of like it's kind of like almost real. I mean, in the style, I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
Like the fur and the feathers like flow naturally, and the desert feels like you're actually there.
I know you liked the creatures too,
Yeah, the creatures. You always win me over. You can always win me over just with having some weird looking critters.
especially like
Uh,
accurate to the region creatures.
Accurate to the region, and also like I like that we couldn't really even tell what Spoons was because he's like a mouse, but he's just so like fucked up. They're cute, which is like there's like I mean I've seen animals like that too, where you're like, what is that? It's just like, oh, they don't normally look like that, but that's just like a rat. That's just a really fucked up rat.
I saw a squirrel the other day who had like a little bobtail because his tail was ripped off. He was
Oh,
so
that's
cute
really common.
though.
Oh,
He looked so
They
cute.
they can actually I they can do fine without their tails.
He looked like
I
he
was
was
about
doing all
to
right. He was jumping around.
mm, I can't remember if squirrels do. I know gerbils can actually detach their tails, like for predators, and it's real common for them to have nubs, like lizards. But anyway, it's a 4.5 for me. It's a very high rating too.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
But
Very high rating.
very high rating, yes. And I don't know. I can't explain why I can't exactly give it a 5. I guess it's more of like a feeling. I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of
yeah.
same.
it still doesn't say much because I mean, like one of my favorite horror films, I gave a 4.5. That's because it was. I mean, it'd be The Grudge, The Curse, part 1 and 2. So it's because I rated them as a whole. If I only just rated part 1, it'd be a 5 out of 5. But the second part kind of drops it a little bit. But yeah, it's still high rating, so 4.5. Real good movie. Awesome. Love it.
Well, that just
Nice.
leaves me, and I kind of spoiled it already, but I was kind of hoping that we could give this a god tier, especially this being a Nickelodeon produced project. That this has got to be my favorite Nickelodeon project out of anything they've ever done, including TV shows or what.
Even Good Burger.
Yeah, see, especially
Good Burger 2, right?
But what about
Good
Even
Good
Good
Burger
Burger
Better
2?
one?
2?
Good Burger
It's
2, the best
so
one.
so much better than fucking Good Burger 2. Yeah, and it's I when I first watched this, I kind of was on the bandwagon with the community that I was surrounded with. It didn't click with me at first, but rewatching this, it definitely just holds up. It's got a lot of my favorite thing. Even though this is a modern animated movie, there's a lot of jagged edges, a lot of points. There's not too much safeness in this. Like this is a very kind of bleak environment that we're in.
Yeah,
And
they let things be ugly.
I got to point this out. Usually, I fucking can't stand the desert sand setting. It makes the color palette like too bland for me sometimes. But they really used it in their advantage this go around because it highlighted and it made the characters and the creatures' colors really pop and be more vibrant and they stood against the background and you could actually tell, when they were supposed to be blending with the environment, it was very intentional. And when they were dressed up, usually it was like a very uh, sickly green or a very bright yellow kind of color. And you don't really get the colors as much when it comes to the desert. And it's the acting, I mean, you can tell that the acting has live action behind it, and I just love that because even with the live action clips that I've seen, it's fucking phenomenal. I really want to see the whole thing. I want to just I really wish they release it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did mean to mention that in my rating too. Like I really enjoyed that the voice actors were together. Like you can tell that the energy and the chemistry is there.
Not. I also like the fact that they were acting out the movement as well. Like the movement is
Right.
the act from the actual actors, and it wasn't like they were in mocaps. They were just filming like in costume, and then the animators took that as reference, which is, I gotta say, very talented on the animators, because I couldn't tell. To be honest, I would think some of these animated animations that they do were mocapped, but they definitely weren't. So it's just very impressive work on everybody's part. There's the music. I fucking love the music. It just hits every note. There's not a single song that I was like, I could do without this, or this doesn't. Nothing took away from the. There's just nothing that takes away from the movie for me. So I got to give it out of 5 out of 5. I wish we could be giving this a god tier. But yeah, I guess I will have to settle for some 4.5s and just accept the fact that this
Superb
can't
ratings.
we'll just have to accept the fact that this is not getting a god tier, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely a 5 out of 5.
Well, shit. There we
Nice.
go.
I think we did it. There's can definitely get into the outro now. If you've been listening to us this long, thank you so much. Please leave a like, comment what you think about the movie in the comment section, and share the video around. That greatly helps the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're only 9 away from 100. We're almost in the triple digits. So
Ooh.
that'd be awesome if we could get to there. Turn on notifications, and this is the part where I go, hey, anybody got to sign off?
Yeah.
I just want to urge people to go look up the real species that these characters are based off of. They're fucking precious. Except the rattlesnake. I wouldn't call him precious. He's real
They're
scary.
cute.
When
Really?
you see the size of it, it loses kind of its cuteness. I do think a lot of snakes are cute, but looking at a full-grown, big-ass Western Diamondback, it's scary.
I've seen some pictures of them where they're extra chody.
If I'm just looking at the face isolated, I might agree, but if I'm looking at their whole body, I'm scared.
Yeah, they ain't scary to me. They're cute.
All right,
They look like cats.
go close to
They look
one
like
and
cat. They look like cat noodles.
We'll see.
And
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see.
There's
if
some
you're not
cats.
scared.
This is gonna be
Some cats you get close to one, see if you're not scared.
Yeah, I used to have one. Fucking strike me.
Yeah, this little venom cat noodles. That's what they look like. I can't unsee it anymore after a little cat.
Well,
I'm not saying. I mean, I think it's a beautiful snake, but I don't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if I could say it's cute like some other snakes are.
Oh yeah,
They're
there's cuter
always-
snakes. I'd say.
There's always gonna have to be the moment of me and Spooge bum rushing for the snake. Who's gonna get it first? Who's gonna get it first?
You ain't bum rushing this snake, Smokey. That was my sign off. Look at the animals, always.
You get the animals.
Hey there, Fruit Cup. You're a long ways from home, ain't you? Who exactly are you? Who am I? I could be anyone. What's the matter? You missing your mama's mangoes? As a matter of fact, I am. But not as much as your daddy's cooking. Exactly where did you say you were from? Me? I'm from the west. Out there, beyond the horizon, past the sunset, the far west. Yes, that's right, hombres. The place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite. Then we salt him, then pepper him, then we braise him in clarified butter, and then we eat him. You eat him? That's what I said.
In the scene?
Yep.
Nice.
The
Perfect.
mama's mangoes line did make me laugh. It caught me off guard.
Oh yeah, that's one of like the greatest. That's one of the best, like strongest scenes of like
It did.
dialogue.
It caught me off guard.
Yeah, as far as a sign off goes, this movie had me deedling on the floor.
It was to rattlesnake Jake, wasn't it?
Sure was. So scary and arousing.
Get deedled.
Spooch.
If you squeeze my lizard, I'll put a snake on you.
Wink.
All right, and
Motorhead
make sure
reference.
to Rango your dango, folks.
Do
Bye
it.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
What about Django?
I almost chose Django. It's close.
Right, we done?
I found a human spinal column in my fecal matter once. You might want to get that looked at.